Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet, and welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, and Intoxicated is a weekly comedy variety talk show where I get personal with comedians, creators, and characters. And guys, it's episode 200, baby. I made it. We're here. It's episode 200. I truly can't believe it. This is a milestone moment for Intoxicated because 200 is just a massive number. I keep calling it a milestone, but this week's guest actually said in the episode that it's also a launching point. And so I actually really like that. This podcast has grown so much over the almost 4 years that I've done it. And we are on the tails of the 4-year anniversary of Intoxicated Podcast. The two milestones are very close together. So it is just going to be a couple weeks of pure celebration here on Intoxicated. And I'm going to kick off this 200th episode with some announcements. So number one, obviously with COVID and restrictions and certain bars not being open, I couldn't do a live show this time, which is heartbreaking, but you guys, I am going to do something for the 4-year anniversary. I'm going to be doing an Intoxicated live stream to celebrate 4 years of podcasting on Saturday, February 27th at 8 p.m. And you know what, you guys? It's just going to be a fun time with some comedians. I'm going to invite some favorites over. We're going to drink. We're going to celebrate. We're going to play some drinking games and just shoot the shit and talk with you guys. It's going to be a fun fucking time. So it's not obviously what I wanted for the big celebration, but it's something. I'm going to make it work because I am incredibly proud of where this podcast has come. It started off with a very panicked girl sitting at a kitchen table with a snowball mic and an editing software that I knew nothing about. It was a podcast about my friends. It has since grown into a comedy podcast. It's the reason I have so many friends that I have now. It's the reason I got into stand-up. I mean, I could go on and on and on about what this podcast means to me, and it still wouldn't be enough words to say how proud I am of this show. And honestly, the biggest thank you ever to you guys, the listeners, for supporting this show. Whether you're a new listener, whether you've been with me since day one, like it doesn't even matter. Like just even the fact that you're listening to this right now, thank you so much. I truly would not have kept up with the podcast as long as I have if it wasn't for the support of listeners and all the amazing guests that I've had on over the years. So I'm going to just get that sappy stuff right out of the way and say the biggest thank you ever. It has been a whirlwind adventure to get to 200 episodes and 4 years of podcasting, but I've learned a lot. And that's something that I might be posting more about in the coming weeks. I might do some sort of like what I've learned in 4 years of podcasting type of video for YouTube, just for those people who are interested in starting podcasts and might want to know what I've learned from it. One of the most fulfilling things about doing this podcast is actually helping other people launch their podcasts. So I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had because there's been a lot of experiences and I have a lot of content to look back on. And I'm really, really proud of everything. And just the biggest thank you ever to all of you for listening. So again, 4-year anniversary live stream, Saturday, February 27th on the Intoxicated YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Tune in. And I have another announcement to make, and this is a hard one for me to make, and I'm going to try my best not to get emotional about it. But I have been thinking a lot about the future of the podcast, and don't worry, it's not ending. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm not quitting the podcast. The podcast is not going anywhere, but I have been sort of on the brink of burnout for quite some time now. It's been on and off throughout the 4 years, to be honest, but particularly in the last 3 months or so, I've been experiencing a lot of burnout, and this is just due to a lot of things in my life changing and my life filling up with a lot of things. And I am getting to the point where I love this podcast so much and I want it to be the best show that it can be, but I'm getting to the point where I need a little help with that. If I'm just completely honest with you guys, I'm really tired. I haven't slept in 4 years, like I truly haven't taken any major breaks from the podcast other than a few weeks here and there. I think in the first year of podcasting, I missed like maybe 3 weeks. And in 2020, I believe I only missed 2 weeks. So my track record is pretty damn awesome and I'm damn proud of that. But it is time for me to take a little bit of a break. And I don't know how long that will be. It might be 3 weeks. It might be a month. But my plan is to essentially get some help with this podcast, to recruit some people who can help me out with it so it takes the load off of me and I can actually really put in quality time to this show rather than being rushed and overwhelmed and tired. And, it's just one of those things where I don't ever want to resent this podcast. But with everything going on in my life, starting a new career, starting stand-up and having my nights be less free than they normally are, it's just been a real struggle for me and it's taken a big toll on my health. I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating well, I'm not exercising. It's just, it's kind of pushed me to a breaking point. And it's not a final breaking point though. I have to say that it is just going to be a little bit of a hiatus to regroup, reorganize. I'm going to line up a fuck ton of guests and I'm going to schedule them in advance and have a plan in place essentially each month. So the break is for the best. It's to make the show even better. And I truly hope that you guys will stick around and stay subscribed and see what I have in store coming up. I have a lot of plans for this podcast. And I mean, like I said, part of that is going to be recruiting people to help me out with it. So if you are listening to this and you are somebody who might want to get involved with Intoxicated, send me a message, introduce yourself, let me know who you are and what your experience is. I'm going to need help with everything. I'm going to need help with promotion, creating content. I would love to get a couple like assistant producers that can be here with me while I'm recording, who can get familiar with the tech setup and just help me out on that end so that I can focus on hosting. I'm essentially assembling a dream team for Intoxicated to grow it because I am so proud of this podcast, but I do think it needs to be bigger than what it is. And I think I could make it even better and grow it even more. Every CEO of a company at some point needs to say, I can't do it all myself. I need to get a team to help me. And that is essentially what is happening now. So I will be breaking from episodes for a while. And it is going to be really hard for me because I'm used to grinding. I'm used to doing this every single week. I've been doing it for 4 years. It is literally muscle memory at this point. But I'm going to try to take like a solid week off for just some R&R, some relaxation, some self-care. And then I'm just going to get right back into planning. And I'm going to come back refreshed and the podcast is going to be even fucking better. So that's the other announcement I have to make. So I really hope that you guys understand and that you will stick around because it's going to be worth it. But you guys, this is episode 200. I had a lot of different ideas of things I want to do for episode 200. What it came down to was time and energy and what I could pull together in an easy way. I decided that I would do an episode with one of my favorite people ever. So this week's episode is with Halifax entrepreneur and matchmaker, Jean-Eva Dickie of JE Matchmaking, one of my really good friends that I've made in the last couple years. She is someone who inspires me so much as a businesswoman and as a creator herself. She hosts an amazing podcast called the Book of Love Podcast. You need to check it out because it is just top-notch, top-quality podcast, all about relationships and dating. It is just so well done. And so Jean-Eva's been on once before as a solo guest. She did one of my marathons as well. But this episode is a bit different. I do try to dive into more about who she is, her personal life, her past. We got really personal with Jean-Eva. She has a wealth of knowledge about relationships and dating. And of course, some of that did trickle in on this episode. But the whole point of this was to sort of bond with her and get to know her a lot better because she is an amazing person and so good at what she does. I mean, she has grown this matchmaking business so much in the last year. Like, it is just skyrocketed. It's wildly successful. And she's a true friggin' inspiration for me. So we Roganed it. We had a long form conversation and it was amazing. So I really do hope you guys enjoy this episode. I sure did. I thought it was a very positive, appropriate episode for episode 200. And a great way to celebrate being a self-starter, being a woman that goes for what you want and gets it fucking done, you guys. So I hope you enjoy this episode. And of course, follow the podcast on social media. Instagram is sort of the main bitch at this point, and that is Intoxicated Podcast on Instagram. There is an Intoxicated Patreon that I actually might keep updating during the break. If I am going crazy and needing to do something, I might just post some audio diaries up on there. And that is patreon.com/intoxicated. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel as well. And honestly, the best thing you can do for me and the best way that you can support me, especially at this point, at 200 episodes, is if you tell a friend and spread the word yourself about the podcast. You can also do this through an iTunes rating or review. That greatly helps with the podcast with visibility and charting, and that's something all podcasters strive for. So if you want to wish me congratulations and tell me how good I've done on 200 episodes, do that in an iTunes review. How nice would that be? But honestly, guys, just spread the word any way you can. I would greatly appreciate it. I love this thing so much, and I do really want it to grow. Okay, that was a big intro. I had a lot to say, and this is an amazing episode, so I'm going to get right to it, you guys. Happy 200 episodes, and I hope you enjoyed this episode with Jean-Eva Dickie of JE Matchmaking. All right. That's, yeah, you're a bombshell. Do you find when you have curly hair that you're like always concerned about like how it looks? Like whereas with straight, like you can just kind of let it.
No, straight I'm concerned with what it looks like. Curly
hair.
Curly hair, I don't care. Curly hair don't care.
Curly hair don't care.
Curly hair don't care. No.
Curly hair is like the dream, I think, for so many women.
Oh, if I could have a white girl fro and like people would get out of the way of my hair whenever I walk into the room, like I would love it to be ginormous.
That'd be amazing.
I really would.
The bigger the hair,
the closer to God.
Yeah, that's it.
And also, did you know that if your hips get bigger, your hair needs to get bigger too, to even it out? That's a Texas woman hint for you.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. So like if you were to get preggers?
Yeah, you gotta puff and tease that hair up. Ask Dolly.
I do
Dolly
like
knows.
I do like some tease. Mm-hmm. My hair can hold tease really good too. I used to do it all the time, and now hair is like the last thing on my list. Usually when I'm getting ready, it's always like makeup, outfit, and then I'm like, fuck.
Have you adopted the dry shampoo yet?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I live there's no way I could live without dry shampoo.
I know.
My weeks are so fucking busy that like sometimes I literally do forget to shower. I body shower a lot. I body shower quite a bit.
Yeah.
I like tie your hair up and just wash the bod.
Yeah.
And I like baths too. Are you a bath person?
No, I am, but I haven't had a bath in one of my apartments ever. Well, when I lived in Calgary, I was a little bit bougier because I made a lot more money. So I would spend a lot more money. So I had like the houses and the apartments that were really gorgeous. And since I've been in Halifax, I haven't had a single apartment that has had a bath.
That is heartbreaking.
But
that
I
is
do
such
rent
a
hotel
requirement for
rooms
me.
Just for the bath.
You know what I'm doing for my 34th birthday?
What are you doing?
Well, I was torn between two options. Mm-hmm. Go out to Oceanstone Resort out by Peggy's Cove and rent a room and do mushrooms.
Legit. That's a good idea.
Or and this would actually mean that I could see more people, rent a hotel room downtown on the Friday night, which is my birthday, do a little birthday din-din and some birthday drinks with friends, and then my plan is to arrange my hookup buddy to come over after everyone leaves.
Have it all scheduled.
Yeah.
You're literally scheduling a party and then a booty.
And I've already already told like
You're such a party planner. That's literally party planning.
I've told people, I'm like, you guys can come over and hang out in the hotel room, but at a certain point you gotta leave so girl can get it on. Because I don't think I've had birthday sex in a long time.
Oh.
And I'd like to do that.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. With my luck, he's probably fucking working.
No, not if you schedule it. You're a party planner. Like, give him lots of time. He can book that night off. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know if he. Well, I mean, firefighter might be tough.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a big deal. That's kind of like
important.
Drawn in stone.
Right?
Firefighter, paramedic, their schedules made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a new friend actually who's a paramedic, and she's thankfully casual right now, so she's free a lot of the time. But yeah, her schedule seems bonkers.
Oh, really?
Bonkers, yeah.
I kind of like the schedule. Like, I remember when I was out in Calgary, it was like, 7 days on, 3 days off. And it was kind of cool. Like, because when your days off were off, you were off.
And there's something to that, because it's like, yeah, we usually work 5 days a week. Why not power on through for 2 more?
Yep.
And get a whole week off after that. I'd fucking do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And also, like, you actually have a day off, because everybody else, when they're working 9 to 5, the weekends, everybody wants to party, everybody wants to do stuff. But, like, when you have that one day in, like, that shift work type of thing, it's a day off.
It's a day off. By the way, you smell amazing.
Thank you. It's Izzy Miyake. I wear perfume everywhere I go.
I gotta start doing that. I have not worn perfume in so long.
I need to find the Rihanna perfume. It's on TikTok. Apparently, she smells amazing. I don't know why or how.
Is it her perfume, or is it the perfume that she wears?
It's the perfume that she wears.
What's it called?
I don't know, but it's like $300 for the bottle. But you can get little samples for like $60.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna find it. I haven't done it yet, but that's my I want to smell really nice everywhere I go.
So I follow this YouTuber beauty guru Kathleen Lights, and she's also obsessed with fragrance. And she recently did a long YouTube video that was like your perfumes for your zodiac sign, and she mentioned that one. She mentioned the one that Rihanna wears. I forget the name of it though.
I know. I have the TikTok saved somewhere because I really, really want it.
Damn. Do you have a signature scent?
Like for me, sweet.
Sweet.
I like
do you have a specific perfume that's like your scent?
It's Izzy Miyake. So how I actually found that perfume is I had a crush on this boy in grade 10. He was from Turkey. So he was like new to town. He was from Turkey, and I had a crush on him. We used to make eyes at each other in biology. And then he finally asked me out, and he smelled amazing. Like when you grow up in Truro, men do not smell amazing, right?
Smell like horse manure.
Yeah. But my dad always smelled really nice. My dad was a really clean, good smelling cologne wearing dude.
Amazing.
And so to have that guy in my classroom, I was like, oh my gosh, like, where'd you get this from? Anyhow, apparently he was wearing the male version of Izzy Miyake. So ever since grade 7, I've been wearing Izzy Miyake.
It's and the reason I like it is it smells fresh. I like fresh scents.
Yeah.
There's one perfume. Maybe I'll treat myself and get it for my birthday this year.
Do it.
The Giorgio Armani Aqua. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. Spell it.
I know what it looks like.
It's the like aqua bottle.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you know what it is, I'm not gonna. But yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I feel like that's such a woman thing to like just get a bottle of perfume that's like your perfume.
Yeah.
And you drop that like whatever it is, $150 on it.
Yeah.
And it's yours.
The key though is that you have to not smell the perfume unless you're hugging somebody, or like technically people shouldn't smell you unless you're hugging them
Or like really close. Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't smell you until I got here.
Exactly. So I want it, like I don't want somebody who has an allergy to be like, whew, like you are strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want people to be like, oh, that just smells like Jean-Eva.
Yeah, exactly. I love this.
Yeah.
This is the best cold open ever. You're gonna go for 7 minutes. I love this.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna open up this episode before I forget to do it, because that's happened.
Yeah.
Where I've gotten talking and just been like, oh yeah, I have to introduce my guest. This is very special, you guys. I'm honored to be here on episode 200.
I'm honored to be on episode 200.
200 episodes. And this was hard for me because this time of year is rough, because I have episode 200. I have also 4-year anniversary. I also have my birthday. So it's like all these things that like I want to celebrate, and then figuring out how to do that in a manageable way. And for me personally, I can't do a live event right now, really. There's not really a venue that's appropriate for me to do a big live show. So I just kind of thought, well, this podcast like is so close to my heart, and like, what better way to just do a regular episode, old-fashioned podcast with like one of my favorite people. And there's a lot of people I could have picked. Lots of comics that have been on probably many times. You've been on twice. So I'm here with someone I look up to so much. Entrepreneur, matchmaker, badass, nail podcaster, TikToker. What else is there?
I don't know.
You're a girlfriend now.
I'm a girlfriend now.
Jean-Eva Dickie.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. Like, you give the best intros. And you know how blessed I feel to be on here. Like, technically, we only met a year ago.
Isn't that wild?
And we haven't seen each other much outside of this industry.
No.
Or doing this.
We've had a couple nights out together.
We did.
Which were really fun.
Yeah. But we have like a soul sister connection, one of those instant things. I think it's like appreciating each other's hustle, maybe.
That could, well, this is guys exactly why I picked you. Because if I could pick anything that represents like this last year of my life, it's the fact that I've made so many great female friendships, but they're not just ordinary friendships. They're like women that are fucking killing it, and that I'm not intimidated by them. I'm not jealous. It's just literally like a support, a fucking, I look up to you. You inspire me to be better. Like, it's just all around positivity.
Yeah.
And like, you represent that. And so like, if anyone's going to be here on my like 200th episode where it's like, we're going to fucking ramp this bitch up. And this is like a milestone moment. Like, it's going to be you. So.
It's a launching point for you, I think. I think it's a milestone, but it's a freaking launching point.
It's a launching point.
I think everybody needs to watch out for Sarah because you're going to take over the world. It's a launching point.
So are you.
Oh, yeah.
We're both going to do it.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go like shopping in New York City. Like, we're going to go down to like resorts down in Mexico. For like months at a time, and
oh my god, girl,
give us 5 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Money, vacations, fucking like doing our own thing. Like, and I think that's something about the two of us. Like, we're both working in our passion industry.
Yeah,
right now
we are working in our passion industry, and that's so rare.
Isn't that wild?
I was talking to a friend today from high school, and he's a hustler in Calgary, and I was saying how there's hustlers here, but not like in other places. So when you meet a fellow hustler, it's like,
I see you.
I see you.
I'm also just like, I see you. Are you sleeping?
I sleep.
Do you?
I sleep.
What?
Oh, yeah. I sleep.
What's your... So like, we said that this episode won't be about dating advice, but we are going to talk about like the entrepreneurial life, how you manage it, a little bit about you personally and like your personal growth throughout
Which
your
I don't
business.
talk about, but I'm going to talk about with her because
yeah. Because like, I feel like with you, and I said this to you, and I feel like it hit something when I said it, which was like, I do feel like you're someone who people just want to pick your brain. They want to just like get your knowledge and like, here's a matchmaker and like, what do we do about dating? And like, what do I like you're just like an advice machine.
Yeah.
And like, I want to get to know Jean-Eva, not Jean-Eva the matchmaker.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Make me want to cry.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I think like when you do so much work like we do, like the line between like who you are and what you do is blurred.
Oh, big time blurred. Yeah.
And like and that's kind of what this podcast is about. It's about getting to know the people behind the art, you know, the people behind comedy, the people behind whatever, you know, influencing. Like there's human beings behind all these public figures.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
And it's exciting too, because I'm glad that we're doing this now, because I have to say the biggest hustle time for me was probably 3 months prior to lockdown and then 3 months after the first lockdown stopped. And then I completely lost my identity because I had stepped away from serving and I was really trying to get the business off the ground. So I just became matchmaker dating coach. There was no Jean-Eva. And then things started kind of coming out the other side. I started seeing the light, and now I was able actually to go back and find myself, if that's the word. Yeah.
Ooh.
And it wasn't intentional in any way. It was literally just having the dust settle and be like, okay, this is who I am. And it's just back to normal again.
And that's the dream of anyone who's their own boss.
Yeah.
Truly is finding that balance.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, like, I don't even know where to start with this. But like, I know for me with you, when you first came on the podcast, like obviously it was amazing. And you've done a bunch of appearances ever since then. But like, I was always curious about the past. And at the time you were like, I don't talk with that. But there was a good reason behind that. Yeah. Because you were on the upward swing. Like you were changing things and you were moving upwards.
And I still needed to earn my stripes. Like at that time, people were like, who is this person? Why should I listen to her? Do you know what I mean? So if I was divulging my young Jean-Eva years, it would have disqualified my expertise.
Ooh, and actually, I want to start with that question. And I don't know if I missed it at your live event. You might have talked about it. So, you're a matchmaker.
Yes.
How do you feel about the comment, well, why should I trust a single matchmaker?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. What's your rebuttal? What's your defense to that? Because number one, that's a stupid fucking thing to say. Because that doesn't mean that you're not good at matching other people. It just means that you just happen to not have matched yourself yet.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
So, okay, I think it's a genuine question to ask.
It is.
Like when you're thinking, the thing is that when you're seeking out business elsewhere, whether it's getting your car fixed or going to a contractor or going to an electrician, you're kind of going to them suspecting that they know what they do. The minute you move into the personal realm, therapy, matchmaking, or something like that, you want to dive into that the qualifications of that person, because you're like, okay, you're getting into my emotions. You're getting into my heart.
It's more personal.
You're not just taking my money for a service. You're getting into me.
Yes.
So why should I trust you? So I personally think it's a valid question. The only thing is that I like to ask when I knew less and I was a little bit more defensive on faking it till I made it, basically defensive on like, well, I do know stuff, so you should trust me. I would get angry at that question.
Yeah.
Now that I know everything, I'm less angry. Now that I know everything.
I love that.
I mean, we don't know everything all the time, but like,
well, that shows that you're comfortable in who you are and that like, you know, you're confident in who you are.
Yeah.
So like that's not going to sway you.
And the confidence of my knowledge. And it was literally a light bulb moment. I can't remember when. But there was a light bulb moment where I knew that question wouldn't bug me anymore.
Oh my God.
But my response used to be like, I remember one esthetician at a networking event was like, well, you're a matchmaker and you're single. I'm like, you're an esthetician. Where's your eyelashes?
I love it.
And clearly she's never coming to me for matchmaking again after that sharp, because she can say whatever she wants to me, but the minute you say something sharp back, it's gone.
She got called out.
She got called out. But it's the same thing. I mean, you know, when you're going to somebody for any kind of professional thing, it's all about their qualifications, not about their personal life. But I think it shifts when you move into the matchmaking dynamic.
That's fascinating. And you're right about like the therapy thing. Yeah. Because like if I were to get a therapist, I would go, well, what, are you depressed? What?
Yeah. Have you experienced
Are you
this?
healthy? Are you healthy? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you experienced what I've been through and now you're teaching based on that? Or do you just have a ton of schooling? Like, which would you even prefer?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is too, and like you said it too, that you worry about not being single right now and not keeping up to date with like what it feels like to be single, because that's a whole thing too, because like the thing about a single matchmaker is like they could relate to you. You're single, they've been in the grind, they know the grind, you're doing it, so like you could relate to each other. But I mean,
that's my biggest fear.
That won't happen.
I don't think
a wealth of knowledge and so much dating experience.
And honestly, dating and dating coaching is so foundational. Like the actual growth of it. It's the same with like growth, just personal growth. Like Dale Carnegie from the 40s teaches the same thing as all the personal development people do now. It's the same concept. It's the same skeleton. It just might be a little bit fresher.
Right.
So it's the same with dating. It's all about a skeleton of being the best version of yourself in dating. And so I don't think I'm going to, but I don't want to lose touch. Like it's my biggest fear, because honestly, online dating has shifted so much in 7 years that if I was no longer dating 7 years ago, I wouldn't understand what any of these single people have been through.
Right?
I would not understand it. So if they're coming into me and they're like, hey, this is my struggle, and I'm looking down at them from like this marriage point being like, like, this is why, this is what's wrong with you. Like,
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear, is that I would be on a pedestal and just not be able to understand them. And I never want anybody to think that coming to me, even though that's part of being a professional.
Right.
Is that you've been through it all, but that is my biggest fear.
I think you have the best of both worlds, though. You have the experience, and now you have the success story.
Yeah.
Where you can say, I've proved my own work because I've gotten myself there.
Yeah.
And
it was a lot of work. And it wasn't even just like the early stages of whatever, and again, we've been together for 5 months, so who knows what's going to happen. It may not be the one, and I'm okay with that too. But the real work was the 3 years prior to.
Okay. So, let's go back to man hater. Jean-Eva.
I know I say that. I'm a man hater, but I'm healed now, so bye-bye. And then I just roll into whatever I'm talking about.
Because even just that phrase, man hater, it has a very negative connotation. Mm-hmm. Do you think all women who are like very critical of men are man haters? Or is it an added layer of like pettiness that makes someone a man hater? Like I always say for me that I'm very much so willing to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
And no one's done it yet.
Yeah.
And that's usually how I combat you're just so bitter about men, Sarah. And I go, no, it's just literally no one's impressed me yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is that man hating, or is that being cautiously skeptical?
I think in anything we have to have like a cautiously skeptical, head in reality.
So true.
Super important. I can only speak to my man-hatingness and some clients that have come through and what I've seen. But my man-hatingness was literally based on hurt mixed up with not knowing what the fuck I was doing wrong with men, mixed up with hurt, probably, and
a lot of hurt.
Lack of self-esteem. Even though everybody looks at me and they're like, oh my gosh, you were so confident. Like, what do you mean lack of self-esteem? I didn't understand men. I didn't understand why they did. I didn't understand why they reacted to me the way that they did. I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. Plus, I worked so hard to become such an independent woman. Ooh. That the fact that these men weren't bowing down to my job, bowing down to my successes, they weren't acknowledging all that I've accomplished, early stages of relationships, like 2, 3, 4 dates in, they're not being like, wow, you're amazing. I was like, well, what's wrong with them? Yeah.
Why don't they appreciate me?
Yeah.
Oh man, that hits hard.
Because man, when I was dating in Calgary, I put on my best blazer. And I've said this before, my favorite question was like, what's your plan for the next 5 years? Like, what's your 5-year plan?
You pull out a binder.
Oh,
like, here.
And I thought I was like, hot shit. But again, it was insecurity. It was like insecurity in what I thought that I could actually get. I would always date under my quality too.
Oh my God.
I would date down big time.
A lot of women do that.
Because we don't want to be rejected. Because when you date down, you don't get rejected. You're doing the rejecting.
You're in the power position.
So, but if you date at your level, gosh, you lose all power.
Because it's equal.
Which is where you want to be, though.
Yeah. I've thought about that. That whole like date up, date down. Like you kind of look at a couple and you go, okay, I know exactly this power dynamic. Mm-hmm. And where was I going with this? I don't even know. But yeah, I definitely want someone who can not even match me, but like challenge me.
Yeah.
But like that can be tricky to find.
Challenge and it is tricky to find. That's the whole point of it. Mm-hmm. Is like, that's another thing too. Oh gosh, we're not supposed to get into this, but like,
I know.
That's another thing too.
We gotta ease into the personal stuff.
You're right. Let's start with
this is foreplay.
What we're good at. You're such a gentle lover, Sarah. Foreplay.
If you only knew.
If I should only be so blessed, right. Honestly. Fuck, what were we talking about?
Oh, being challenged. Finding someone who challenges you.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to get into the fact that sometimes we think like movies and TV have shown us that, oh, they're just going to fall into your lap. You only need to meet 1 or 2, 3 people and then you find them. You have to meet hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, because we're going to tell the story about how I met my guy.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And I intense dated. And you have to meet hundreds of people to find that person.
That is... Okay, number one, like so ridiculously fascinating because this is called the compound dating
technique, which I kind of amalgamated it from all that I've learned over the last 2 years about dating. And then I created something that would benefit my strengths of dating, which is basically momentum and stamina, and meeting lots and lots of new people, which is my strength. I have no problem doing that.
Damn.
And so
Libra queen.
I know. You got to go with your strengths, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I couldn't teach it unless I did it.
So you came up with this. This is not. You came up with this technique.
Yeah. Well, I did it. I did it myself. And then, but it's honestly the ideas of all these dating coaches put together. I took what was applicable to both Halifax, Nova Scotia, online dating, modern day dating, as well as my mindset, which is like, we're taking all these insecurities. We talk about attachment styles a lot.
Yeah.
So my biggest problem is that if I invest too much time in one person, I overinvest. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to mechanically generate something where I could take that, what's it called? I could take that issue that I have from past relationships, which is investing too much in somebody, and I could mechanically generate something where I could not invest too much in one person, which for me was dating multiple people.
So you're spreading yourself out. Oh, that sounds bad. You're spreading.
I was spreading Jean-Eva around Halifax. Everybody.
You're allocating a smaller percentage of investment to more people.
Yes. So until they rose to the occasion. So a lot of the time what we do is, and it's huge for people who are love addicted, is that you go out with one person, you have a great first date, you're planning the wedding, you're planning this, you're planning that. So, and this is what we do. So when we can acknowledge that that is what we're doing, we can design something that will steer you away from that.
That's fascinating.
Now, this doesn't apply to people who are securely attached, where when they partner up with somebody or they're dating someone, they don't get crazy attached. Like maybe the compound dating technique won't be applicable for them,
right?
Because they don't have that problem,
right?
But it was applicable for me and all the women that I'm teaching.
And it truly does make sense because I sent a podcast guest your way, a guy who wrote a book.
Yeah, he's all booked in, ready to go. I'm reading the book.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
His name is John Berger.
Yeah.
And it's called Make the First Move.
I gotta read that.
It's good.
Is it?
There's some stuff I disagree with, but I mean, if I'm not disagreeing with it, then it's not like innovative.
And I mean, he seems so good at like discussing things. I'm like, I'm going to listen to go to that episode. That's going to be so good. Yeah. But he essentially like researched dating from like literally a number standpoint, being like his first book, Datanomics.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet.
And I didn't read it. So, but I know that it's like essentially saying that there's essentially more women than men right now. And all the women are looking for college graduated men. And statistically, there's just less of that now.
Because men are doing trade. That's the thing too, is like women are designed to go to school, get educated, and do those jobs that are like organization based. Again, there's lots of women in the trades, and power to you. I did the same thing. I was in a super male dominated industry. It's badass. But men they kind of tend to go to the trades. Yeah. We have to keep this infrastructure going somehow. We have to keep the lights on. We have to keep the power lines active. We have to keep the plumbing going. We have to do that. And that's
important jobs.
They're important jobs. And so more men go to that. So it's uneven.
It's uneven. And they're not finding their people because they're looking for the wrong people kind of thing. So it's fascinating.
That's the first thing I challenge when people come in, and I ask them what their expectation of education is. We're so lucky to be in Halifax. I truly feel that Halifax people really have their heads in reality, because majority of the time there are some people and it's usually when they're younger and freshly graduated, they want somebody who has a university degree. Now it's like, you know what? I honestly just want somebody intelligent that I can have conversations with. Whatever their education is their prerogative.
I could care less, truly.
I could care less too.
I mean, I think it helps like having that base, because I do think like college and education makes you a more critical thinker in the world.
Yes.
But I mean, fucking, like if someone graduated high school, worked their butt off in a certain field and is excelling in that field and is passionate and knows a lot about that field, fucking hell yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is I want someone who loves what they do. I do actually like intelligence, but like I don't think I could date someone who would be like, oh, I hate my job. Like at this age, it's like it's unacceptable. Get out of it.
Yeah.
Like it would be it would be okay in your 20s.
Yeah.
You're like kind of like granted that experience of like hating jobs in your 20s, but like do something about it.
But that's just more of like being more aware of what you can and can't do. If you're sitting there and complaining about what you hate all day long, that's a personality trait that has far less to do with what you do for work.
I literally hate it, and it's funny because I know people think that about me.
You think so?
That I'm complaining.
Oh.
And I've purposely ridded myself.
You know
people.
what? I don't know how you do this. Like, I know that I've watched your podcast and like you're going into the stand-up stuff and you're asking for genuine feedback from people and you're taking it and you're not slitting your wrist 10 minutes later. I personally put my blinders on and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. You give me any feedback. I literally don't want to hear it.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
It's pretty insane. It's also unique, I think, to the fact that like I was friends with comics before doing stand-up, and I also have the podcast. I think the standard person wouldn't get that type of feedback.
I would die. I would not be able to do that. I think it's awesome that you can do that.
I mean, I'm trying my best.
No, you're doing a great job. Do you find that like getting that feedback is really helpful, or do you find it pulls you down?
I think it's just a matter of taking it in like logically and not emotionally. And also just reminding yourself to go with your gut. So like you might hear feedback, but like in your heart go, I really do like this joke the way it is, and I'm going to just keep trying it. And usually I find that my intuition and my gut are rarely wrong about things.
Oh, rarely ever. It's when you go against your gut that you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Right?
It's never wrong.
Right?
When it feels never wrong.
I literally have like these like things called like intuition red flags, which is like I can predict things happening before they happen.
Oh, you mean like what?
Like in couples, like relationships, I'll go, this is what's going to go down with them.
Oh no. That's evil.
But I just like
it's a horrible. It's like having the sight of who's gonna die when.
But this is the thing. I just like psychoanalyzing people, figuring out like why they are the way they are, like why they do the things they do, why are they fucked up. Like I just love that type of stuff.
Oh my gosh, you would love being a matchmaker. Like when you can sit down with
that's what it is.
Different types of people.
That you're using psychoanalysis like to pair people.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. And I truly think that there's a pot for every lid, and the fact that like so long as they're coming to me kind and open and willing to be coached, I can find them a match. Honestly, it's those that come through and I'm like, ooh, you're going to be hard to match, are the ones that match the quickest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn.
You know.
So early days of you. Okay, so you said that your man hating came from hurt. Are we willing to talk about that hurt?
Yeah, we can talk about that hurt.
Okay, so what's your dating history resume? You said that you've been engaged a couple times.
I've been engaged 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
I know, but also
it makes sense. It makes total sense. I don't know why I haven't been asked yet.
So the only thing is that they weren't true engagements.
Oh, okay. What do you mean by that?
Well, it was like there was rings and stuff. So I guess it was a true engagement. But what I mean by true engagement are 2 adult humans having a conversation about an engagement to move forward in life together.
Like a serious, logical
like
plan for the future.
This was like, you're going away to university, but I want you to stay here. Here's a ring. Will you marry me? Or I want to move in with you. You said that we won't move in unless we're engaged. Here's a ring.
Like ultimatum-y.
Yeah. It was almost to control me. The other one was like, oh, so this was when I graduated from all of my education, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's absolutely no employment in Nova Scotia. He wanted to keep me here, and he didn't want to move and travel the world and like do that. So clearly the natural next step was to propose.
How old were you with the first engagement?
Oh, he was my high school boyfriend. So that was just I don't know.
How old? Like grade 12? 11?
Yeah, grade 12. I was 16.
Oh my God. That's wild.
Yeah.
I actually gave you a ring?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What was that proposal like? 16-year-old proposal.
It was cute. I mean, well, we had it was cute.
Was it?
Yeah, it was cute. Well, he was a sweetheart. The best thing about he was my first boyfriend ever.
Yeah.
And lost my virginity to him. We were together for 1 year, and it was like on our 1 year anniversary.
That you banged?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
we
cute.
made love, Sarah.
I don't know why I said banged.
We made love. It's different.
That's so interesting to me, like that age, like 16, 17, because like I lost my virginity at 17, and it's always fascinating, like how long couples choose to wait at that age. Because like I think I had sex with my first boyfriend 3 months in.
Yeah.
But a lot of
that's
couples that I knew at
too.
the time were the same as you. Like it was like 1 or 2
Some
years.
people lose it in the shower at a party.
Isn't that wild? That's a bit much. I would never do that.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to get rid of it. Just like get rid of that V card as quickly as possible, right?
That's so sweet though. 1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary, and he was the sweetest boy. So attractive, little skater boy.
Oh my God, my first boyfriend was a skater boy too.
Really?
Yeah.
They were the best.
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
Because when I broke up with him the first time, that was the hit, was Skater Boy. And he's all like, I'm going to be a rich musician and you're going to be like, da-da-da. I'm like, hold my purse, buddy, but whatever.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So he was a sweetheart. But the only thing is that when I first broke up with him is because there was this older boy that was showing me attention. So this was the first, but he was detached, this older boy.
Okay.
He was just playing.
Oh, but
And I had this beautiful relationship with this beautiful boy and that detached dude that I think we've all experienced. We probably experience it every single day. He enticed me away and I was too young to understand.
was he a bad boy?
Yeah, he was a
Like
bad
a
boy.
little
He
bit
had
of
a
a rebel.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
He had a motorcycle. He was 3 years older and had a leather jacket. I mean, he was a nice boy too. He was nice. Like he was a sweetheart. He wasn't super invested.
Off the grid a little bit.
Off the grid a little bit. He would be the type that would plan a date and then I would be sitting in the living room with my cell phone on my lap and my parents and my brothers were all in there watching TV. They knew I had a date and he would just not show up. And he did that like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, God damn it.
I know. My dad was like, I want to murder him. But my dad, bless his heart, didn't say or do anything. They just watched my little heartbreak sitting on that love seat while the guy never picked me up. And he did it 2 or 3 times. And I don't think we've ever talked about it.
Starting the gaslighting young. Jesus Christ, Jean-Eva.
I know. And then me and my first boyfriend got back together for the summer before going away to university.
Oh, okay.
So we just got back together. He had another girlfriend during that time that I was figuring everything out with that dude. And so then we came back together just to like almost just send it off. But I mean, yeah.
Interesting.
Just to finish it off, just finish off the first love. And then he found his perfect girl and they got married and had kids and he's super happy and he deserves all of his happiness in the world.
So that first one was like, I guess the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Like ended on good terms, no ill will.
No.
Not like that's not really a true heartbreak. That's like a mutual
Growing apart.
leave. Yeah.
Like he stayed in Truro. I went to university. It was just one of those stories.
One of those stories.
Yeah.
That's such a fascinating saga.
Yeah, it was really sweet. So like I'm planning on writing a book here soon and I'm
so excited.
definitely going to be telling those stories.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. This is like a little tease.
I know.
Little preview.
Little preview. And then I went to university and I did the first year university fun times.
Oh, yes.
And then second year university was my next boyfriend.
Where did you go to university?
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's.
Yeah, man.
Oh my
Lived in residence first year, had so much fun. I was like partying with the Cape Bretoners who know how to party.
Oh yeah, do they ever?
Oh, I know. So they taught me how to drink. They taught me how to do all of that stuff. Super cool people too. So
Oh yeah, you can't
Yeah.
go wrong with the Cape Bretoner.
no, you can't.
No.
Super fun. And then second year I partnered up. So basically I like my habit is I never cheat. Never once I've ever cheated. Nor do I think I've ever been cheated on that I know of. And I don't really care if I have at this point. But like I go from relationship 1 to 2 years and then playtime for a year or 2 and then relationship for 1 to 2 years.
So you're not really a jumper, but you
I don't jump.
you spend an appropriate amount of time single between each.
Yeah. And I think that was so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always say like if you're single, girl, I'm going on 10 years single.
Yes.
I just go, the only years that it was fun, and I mean this as someone who's just always wanted love, the first like 2 years.
Yeah.
Fun. Because like you have, this sounds sad, but you have hope. So you just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah, I'll find someone eventually.
Oh yeah, totally. And like those are the growing periods too. It's when you're single that you grow the most.
You really, really do.
And you need that time for your future partner. I think it's a kind thing to do. But then honestly, there's people out there that are such amazing people that they don't need any time either. There's some people that don't need any time.
That's wild.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, but there's lots of people that can, and they do it well.
Securely attached, probably.
Yeah, those freaks of nature. I know we're talking about how my guy, I'm pretty sure he's securely attached. We haven't had him do the test or anything like that. But you said in the car when we were driving to the live show, you're like, they exist?
I thought I asked him what was wrong with him.
I know that you're securely attached.
Get him on Intoxicated. I'll figure him out.
I know. Yes.
Think some questions.
Oh, you would figure him out. I know.
Everyone has some sort of fucked up thing about them. I don't know. It's just a matter of finding it.
And that's the beautiful thing. Like that's what I realized. For some reason, prior to it being a matchmaker, I thought that like good-looking people or rich people were better or harder to talk to or something.
Yeah.
But one thing I realized is that everybody, no matter how hot, no matter how rich, no matter how, they're all weirdos. They're all messed up somehow.
And also, if you're intimidated by someone who's like insanely confident, like getting a lot of what they want out of life, they're probably wildly insecure as well.
Oh yeah.
And putting up a lot of appearances.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane.
Oh yeah. Everybody is. Everybody is.
That's wild.
And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just literally surviving life. So
that's really what it is. Mm-hmm. So second year SMU. So what was the next?
So this was a fun one, actually. He was hot. His name was, so he was my, I have one of my really good friends. She was that type of girl that would just love everybody. Mm-hmm. So she was in love with this guy. She was in love with this guy. She was in love with this guy. And it was just these huge crushes.
I'm right here, Jean-Eva. You don't have to refer to me as that girl.
Are you like a crusher?
Oh,
and then if you have a crush, everybody has to stay away?
Oh, God, yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily that, but I have called dibs amongst friends before. And it may have happened this year.
Okay, so tell me that. Like, tell me where does that come from?
I mean, I think it's like this mentality of like, I've done my single time. Let me do it first. Let me have a chance with this
Step
first.
aside, ladies.
But then you start to realize that like, like if they're naturally going for someone else, that's a sign that there's probably nothing there. Mm-hmm. So you just gotta fucking deal with it.
Interesting.
But I actually don't have a lot of single friends, so I don't really have that issue anymore.
Okay. You can just crush in peace.
I can crush.
Crush in peace. Back off, bitches.
Okay, so you had a friend who was a crusher.
She's a crusher.
Love addict?
No, definitely not. She's actually in an amazing relationship with right now. Ooh. But basically her first boyfriend, she had a little bit in between, but basically her first boyfriend, they just had their kid. She's 40. Her first kid. They're going to have another one here soon.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, super happy. So, but I wouldn't call her a love addict. I think she was just a crusher. Anyhow, she had a crush on this guy, and it was her staple crush.
Yeah.
And he turned his attention to me.
Uh-oh.
And I was too weak. Plus, he was too hot to turn away.
No way.
Yeah, so he turned his attention on me. I don't even remember. I didn't really even know him that well. But he just decided to pursue me. And I was like, okay, cool. So then we became boyfriend and girlfriend while I was living with her, too.
Was she pissed at you?
She was so pissed. And then all of our friends got into... No, I don't think it was a fight, but she still hates me because of it.
Like jokingly?
No,
or
she definitely hates me. But we're still good friends. But I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure she literally hates me.
Oh my gosh! So it's kind of like a deep-seated little wound.
Yeah, I think a lot of friends I think would have that. If you've been friends longer than 5 to 10 years, there's some resentment there through experiences from the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, he and I dated for 2 years, and he was great and good-looking and. But
and you were in your like early 20s?
Second year university.
Early 20s at that point?
We went into the third year together. And then we broke up. I went through a hard time. My 2 grandfathers died in the same week. Oh, so then I just went boop. And then he broke up with me a week later.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a great relationship. He was a sweetheart. But that was a messy one.
Okay. And what was the reason for the breakup?
Whoa. So
you could have heard war music go off in Geneva's head right now. Just play some epic battle music.
He's going to hate me if he listens to this, and he actually watches all my stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he does. He watches all my stuff.
You can be vague.
I can be vague.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be straight up. What happened?
Oh, I love it.
So he basically, well, I mean, it was all building up to everything. It was 2 years. He was going to go away for RCMP school. I was going to stay, and it was just kind of like fizzling out. We didn't really match on a lot of things as well. Because honestly, when you're that young, you're just amoebas.
And you're just like, everything feels good and it's all fun.
Yeah.
What future? What values?
Just the next step is to get married and have kids. Like, that's just how it works. We don't check for compatibility. We don't check for that stuff.
No.
So I was hanging out with some friends, and he found out, it was like a story that was happening. He actually found out that in high school I had dated a black guy. And so he said to me, if I had known that you dated a black guy in high school, I never would have touched you. You're tainted.
What?
Yeah. Shit. So, and that was the same week that I lost my grandfather's too. And so then we just kind of like ended it, I think, after one of the grandfather's funerals. Yeah. That was crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
But also, good on you.
Yeah.
For recognizing that, like, that's not something you want to deal. Because sometimes love can fucking blind you and make you a dumbass.
Oh yeah, it's done it to me lots of times.
And to make that decision to go, like, I'm in love with this person, but like this is unacceptable and I'm out.
Oh my God.
You know, like
absolutely.
That's still even as bad as that was, that's still like a big decision to make at that age when you're so in love with somebody.
Yeah. I think if it probably happened earlier in the relationship, and I don't know if this is the case because I was actually very adamant about LGBTQ rights and all of that stuff early on. Like always, I've been like that. So I probably would have ended it. But I think if you were in that puppy dog stage, it's hard.
It is really hard
to let stuff like that not just slide.
Right.
When you are just like so into it.
And you're getting all those like happy feelings, all the feel good feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It can skew you.
Oh, it can big time skew you. And it's happened before lots of times. I mean, we all kind of like sweep a lot of things under the rug early on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You just touched my thumb.
Oh
my God.
Okay. So, and then were you engaged to him?
No.
I love how we're going through the Rolodex. This is so fascinating to me. It's like your dating resume.
I think the first engagement is the only one I'm actually going to tell you about.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because that was just literally like a high school boy saying like, we should get married because you're going to university. Like, what a sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then it kind of like, gosh, oh my God, I don't even remember. There's so many.
That's insane.
Like, that's the thing is that when you're a dating coach, there's one thing that I can teach, and it's how to date, because I have dated so many people.
You have?
Can I tell you the most amazing romantic story of all time?
Yes, please.
Okay. This was actually around this time that I had broken up with this guy. Is that summer I went a little crazy and just had fun with the girls and going out to the ale house all the time and having a blast and doing my thing. And there was this one guy there, and he was from Ontario, and we just had like this whirlwind romance after running into each other at the ale house. So much fun, beautiful person. He went back to Ontario that weekend, never heard from him again. So actually the first year I came back here from Calgary, so I guess 5 years ago, I was out for Canada Day, and I was out with some friends, and the whole bar it was the ale house at the time, it was closing down. And I was going to walk out of the bar to go home. All my friends had like coupled up or left or whatever. And so I was walking out by myself. This dude plows right into me, almost knocks me off my feet. And like at the time I was like, I was kind of tipsy by then because it was the end of the night. And so I walk out and he's like, where are you going? And I was like, oh, I'm just going out for a smoke because I smoke when I drink. Don't tell anybody. Going out for a smoke. So he's like, well, I'll come with you. And then he was standing and having a smoke. He's like, what are you doing now? I'm like, walking home. And he's like, can I walk you home? And I said, and I looked up at him the first time I actually looked at his face since he ran into me. And I was like, and he was handsome with this beautiful green eyes and dark hair. And I was like, yeah, you can walk me home. Because that summer I would just like allow a guy to walk me home so I could have someone tall to walk home. And then when I got to my door, I'd be like, okay, bye.
I love it. It's like you're using them for safety.
Using them for safety. Exactly.
I love it.
Anyhow, we're like starting to walk away and he's like, so my name's Adam. What's your name? I'm like, Jean-Eva. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, do you remember me?
What the fuck?
And I was like, no. And he's like, Adam, like, do you remember last time I was here 10 years ago? Last time I was here, you and I had this amazing romance. We met at the ale house. And I looked at him and I was like, I didn't register at all.
Oh my God.
That any of this had happened, but it was him. So we had a whirlwind romance then. And then I drove up to Petawawa to see him for an entire like month in the summer, a couple summers ago. And
What?
that was so much fun.
That's insane that you didn't recognize each other.
I know we didn't. Well, it was 10 years.
I guess that's a long time.
And he is
But even
so out
still-
of your mind because you just don't think of anybody for 10 years. Didn't recognize him. I think he recognized me, which is why he ran into me. Pretty sure his brother was like shoved him into me. So that, like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
And was that just a fizzle out? So you had a second whirlwind.
We had a second whirlwind. He's one of those people where we just have so much physical chemistry that it surpasses like any logic.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
I've had it over the phone. So I guess that's not physical chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
You would know it. He's the only one.
Probably not.
Yeah. But, and like we're equal amounts of kindness, like all of that stuff. And he's a really genuinely great person. And I know I say this about every single guy, but he was a really genuinely great person. But he had a kid in Petawawa. There's no way in fucking hell I'm moving to Petawawa, Ontario. So when I came back, I wanted to keep things talking, but it just fizzled. He messages me every now and then saying, you're just such an amazing person. I want you to know that. And when I respond, he doesn't say anything back. He just like drops those nice little tidbits to me every now and then.
It's like someone who's kind of like trickles in every now and then into your life.
And just say something absolutely sweet that just builds up my day. And then he would not respond. And then he'll do that again in like a year or
That's
6
so
months.
nice though.
It is really nice. And probably, yeah. So, but that will never happen. And it's really sad, but that will never happen.
That's interesting. I like the idea of having, and it's a crazy term to say, but like multiple soulmates in the sense that like I always think about this story. Amy Schumer tells it about her like one and only one night stand she had. It was like one of the best nights of her life.
Oh.
And then when they departed, he was like, "Do you want my number?" And she was like, "No, let's just leave it at that."
Okay.
Like, let's have this nice memory before we fucking ruin it.
Yeah.
You know?
With reality.
And to appreciate it for what it was, move on, but also just look back and smile at those moments. Like, that is so fucking cool. And I'm wildly jealous.
And I like that you say that because like I'm not looking like that happened and I feel so blessed that it did happen to me because and I just hope it happens to everybody. But I'm not looking for that moving forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not there's a lot of people that experience something like that and then that's what they're looking for the rest of their lives and they'll never be happy. I truly believe that the people that come into your lives come to you for a reason and it's different for every single person. So if you're pursuing something that you've experienced in the past and you won't settle until that happens again. Yeah. Like that's not going to happen.
A good way to go about it.
And they're all human and the connection's different for everybody. So
and it's like all about timing too. I fully believe in that as well. That like things happen for a reason.
Oh, timing's huge.
Timing is a bitch. A goddamn bitch.
It is. It is. But all we can do, like you said, like Amy Schumer said, is just accept it, appreciate it. Like I can still picture up in Petawawa. It was a hot summer. We spent like all this time together and I can picture us biking to this pool in the middle of the night. And he was beautiful too. And he had no like shirts, sleeves. And he was just like, we were biking and I'm like sweating, biking behind him, like not a biker, but you could tell he's a biker. And I'm just like, this is the most amazing time ever.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is the thing too that I want to teach women is you have to be open to falling in love and breaking your heart because those experiences are so beautiful. And I wish I could just unscrew my head that it hurts when it doesn't work out or it hurts that it is what it is. But I am so glad I did it.
And you had the experience.
Yeah.
You had it.
Yeah.
You had an experience to look back on.
And I've had several that are similar to that, different for each person, but yeah.
Like you have that sounds like a fucking Nicholas Sparks movie.
I know.
What you just described.
But there's no happily ever after for those, and that's totally okay. That's the thing about those movies, that there's always somehow a happily ever after, but there doesn't have to be. Because I want to be really old and reading my diary and be like, I was such
And looking
a
back
slut.
on all these people who like left marks on your heart kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sounds so fucking cheesy to say, but like, and looking back and being positive about those things.
And that I never said no to something out of fear. Like, I could have just like experienced that weekend with him and not have driven up 16 hours to Petawawa to see him. But that was just the stage I was in then. And I'm just so blessed that I did that. I'm so glad that I did that.
That's like so just like fearless and
Dumb.
but like also it's like you're young. You were young.
I was 33, baby.
That's young.
You're 33. I was 33.
I still am like I don't know. There's certain things, there's certain chemistries that you can't deny.
Yeah.
And like the itch has to be scratched,
Yeah.
so to speak.
And I just want the single people to know, just like, get out there, have fun, make mistakes, get your heart broken, and, you know, see it for what it is. We can't just sit around waiting for that one person to come into our life without ever experiencing all the rest, because we'll never appreciate it when it comes.
What's the most romantic thing you've ever experienced?
I have so many. That was pretty romantic.
That's really romantic.
Gosh, I don't know. Romantic.
Like, is there something that sticks out to you as like...
Well, another moment that I had, I was dating this beautiful California man.
I remember this.
A couple years
you
back.
told me about this guy.
Probably definitely told you about this guy. And he was beautiful. He flew me out to California on Valentine's Day, I think 3 years
Jeez, that's
ago.
pretty fucking romantic.
2 years ago. Yeah, he flew me out to California. And then he bought me a longboard.
Whoa.
And then we went down to Venice Beach in California, and he taught me how to longboard on the new longboard that he purchased for me. And I remember I didn't know how to longboard, so by the end of it, I was so tired that he was just slingshotting me down the boardwalk. And I would just like grab his hand, and he'd slingshot me, and he did that for like miles. And then there's this guy selling these roses, like a peddler selling these roses. So he bought a rose for me and he gave it to me, and there's a picture of me, and I looked horrible, but like I was on the California boardwalk and it was in my hair, and I was like, oh my God, this is the most magical thing.
picture. Do you have it?
Oh, it would be deep somewhere. I don't know. But then like,
oh my God, I want to see it.
I thought I was like, the feeling that I had, I thought I was the hottest, most beautiful woman that ever existed.
Because he made you feel that way.
Because he made me feel that way.
Yeah.
The warm air in my hair as I was getting slingshotted down Venice Beach with a rose in my hand from a beautiful man that purchased it for me. I keep saying purchased. He bought a rose for me. Anyhow. And
it was a purchase.
And yeah, that's pretty
so
up there.
That's so cute.
Yeah. But I never really kind of like crumble under romance. I don't really need romance.
Oh, interesting.
I like it when it happens. Like, those are really great experiences, but I never really feel like I need them.
Right. But also too, I think people's definition of romance changes as we get older.
I think so too.
And it becomes more about everyday things and not so much.
What's your definition of romance, if you were to say?
I really don't know, Jean-Eva. like hearing you talk, I'm like, I've truly not experienced it ever.
Oh. Really?
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, like, even like my past boyfriends, they were really dramatic relationships, and they weren't great. I hate saying that because I want to be able to look back and go, oh yeah, like I experienced this and that. I mean, I had a guy drive me. I remember somewhat recently. All I wanted all summer was to go to the beach, and a guy drove me to the beach in the middle of the night. That was kind of romantic, but that's very simple, and like, and we weren't together, and there was, you know, it was romantic to me, I guess, but I don't think that it was to him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think everyday moments. Fucking know. I truly don't know.
Oh.
I don't. I'm like turning 34 and I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know if I was just lucky. Maybe I was just lucky that that's what happened.
I don't think it's about luck. I think it was about you embracing opportunities.
Yeah. Probably. And just being super bubbly and open and welcoming and saying yes to really stupid things. But yeah.
And also like maybe there was some luck in meeting people, like, because I know for me, it just never really tends to match up like attractive. Like I'm never attracted to the people who are attracted to me. And that's the main issue usually is that. And then usually if there is a mutual attraction, there's other factors that make it not happen.
Right.
So that's kind of the main challenge.
Cool.
Do you have the picture?
We could go. No, I didn't find it. I have no idea where that is. It's probably lost for eternity.
I
But
want to see it. So if you ever find it, please send it to me.
I know. I have. So that was the longboard.
Oh, I love it.
That's at the Golden Gate Bridge, clearly.
So happy.
Oh, you know, with my pretty hair. And then he would be the type that would take pictures of me. So like those were like the best pictures when they just kind of like
See,
came and
that's
take them.
romantic.
But honestly, he's not a good person. I mean, he's a nice enough person, but it was never gonna be a thing. He was a narcissist, honestly.
Okay, so yeah, not everything that it seems, kind of.
Not everything that it seems.
Yeah.
It never would have worked out. It was fun for what it was, and I got hurt. I got really hurt, and I learned some lessons. But the memories are there.
How do you get over heartbreak?
I think it changes the older you get. I mean, I think there's always there's TikToks out there about the heartbreak phases.
Yeah.
It's like sadness, hoe phase, and then independent phase or something like that.
Yeah.
I just give myself a lot of time to get over heartbreak, but I will never still say no to things, even if I'm hurting. Like rarely will I be like, I need this time to figure out who I am. Because I believe that while you're out meeting people, you're finding who you are. So long as you're not out there hurting anybody or putting your damage on people,
Right.
you can continue to build relationships.
While you're still, yeah, and
While
I mean
you're still
that's
healing.
and that's like a fucking good twist on you gotta love yourself before anyone else can love you. And it's like, yeah, you can love yourself enough.
Yeah.
We don't have to fully be 100%.
No.
Because I don't think anyone ever truly is.
Nobody will ever truly be 100%.
So that's putting an unrealistic expectation on yourself. That you're only going to put pressure on yourself to find someone else. Like it's just it makes I hate that cliche.
I know, and it's
such
like
a stupid cliche.
And that's what whenever I say like what's your biggest dating advice on my podcast, that's usually what people say is like figure out yourself, heal yourself, whatever it may be. And I get it, I understand it, and I get it, but gosh, I don't know. There's just so many people that are running away too.
Yeah.
From the hurt, and to do that you're just removing human connection from your life, and that's fear-based, and nothing amazing comes to you when you live in fear.
That's true. So many people just they don't want to even risk getting hurt again.
Yeah, which is their prerogative, and if they want to do it and they want to come out cautiously and they want to do it that way, sure, go right ahead, but you gotta put yourself out there.
You gotta embrace those opportunities as they come,
because you never know who's actually gonna be the one, or who's gonna be the one that sweeps you off your feet. And if you don't have those experiences, are you ever gonna know when the right thing comes along?
So true. So fucking true.
Look at you right now. You just totally went off into the distance there.
Yeah. I'm just it's just a lot to think about. So okay, so that was I don't know what number he was. So California.
He was just a couple years ago, honestly.
Yeah, that takes us up pretty recent.
Yeah, that's pretty recent. So like that's also something I want to talk about is like the best dating years and the highest quality men were between 30 and now. And it's even getting higher and higher quality. Like the current guy that I'm dating right now is super high quality.
High fucking
And I'm
quality.
like, yes, thank you. I never would have been able to land him 5 years ago, 3 years ago. No way.
So what shifted? So you said that you were a man hater because you were dealing with hurt. And then your mindset shifted. And is that when you started the business, or did you actually start matchmaking while still a man hater?
I started the business while I was still a man hater. I started speed dating. I mean, it was speed dating. What kind of damage would a man hater do with speed dating? But yeah, no, I was a super man hater for the first 6 months of this business, of doing the events.
6 months, yeah.
It was truly, honestly, when I learned the most was when I started to sit down for people with matchmaking, that I realized that men and women are all looking for the same thing. They're looking for happiness. But I always thought that men were more shallow, that men cared about just this and just that. But in the grand scheme of things, women and men are the same in what they're looking for. And it's really just somebody who, I mean, we're all looking for somebody who's attractive. So let's not play that that's not important.
And when she says that, she means attractive to us.
Yes.
So like there's conventionally attractive.
Yes.
And one big thing that a rule of Sarah, no, you never bash what a friend is
Never.
into.
Never.
I fucking hate that.
I don't know why people do that.
I hate that. And it's part of this whole you can do better mentality that I think female friends can have sometimes, where it's like, you can do so much better than him. And it's just like, well, what are you basing that off of?
Yeah.
Because if you're basing it off of how he treats me, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if you're literally basing it off of like your snap judgment of a person based on their looks, or like how, like meeting them maybe once,
or what you think you would want to date. I think a lot of it is like, I wouldn't date him, so why should you?
Why should you?
Right.
And they have like an image in their mind of like who you should be with, but it's like, Jesus Christ, like I've been told everything. I've been told your standards are too high, your standards are too low, you don't have standards. Like, and it's just like, and then like I've shown people, guys I've been involved with, and I've heard you could do better. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? What am I doing?
They just say that. Do they say that because they love you? They say that because they don't know what else to say.
And that's a huge part of it. It's all rooted in good intentions.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, especially with physical stuff, never fucking yuck someone's yum.
No.
You know?
I know.
Don't do that.
Don't yuck someone's yum.
If your friend is happy,
Yeah.
let them be happy and let them be fucking turned on by this guy that you're not into or you don't think is cute. You know?
And if you see stuff that's coming up that's going to be a problem, let them make those mistakes themselves too. And we all know that if we actually say anything about somebody's boyfriend or partner or what have you, it's never going to be good for that friendship either.
I've been thinking about that lately, about like if you do see your friend unhappy and legitimately feeling
being
like
treated wrong,
like that they deserve better, like do you say anything and how do you say that, and like what how, like, and I'm always like, I take the podcaster route
Yeah.
which is ask questions.
Yeah.
How's the relationship going? You seem like you don't talk about him a lot. Like, how are you guys doing? Like almost open up the door for them to bring it to the table, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to hold the space. That's something that I've done. Like when I was younger, I would be like, this is what my thought, like everything that you just said, I've done. So I like, we've all done this.
Yeah, same. But it wasn't until it was done to me where I went, well, why are you judging me based on what I'm attracted to?
Yeah. So now I do. I'm like you. I hold space. I allow them, because all of the other friends are going to tell them the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you're that one space that they can come to where they know it's no judgment,
right,
they're going to talk themselves out of it while they're with you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I love this. We're going into so much good stuff.
I love it so much. And so 6 months into the business, you were still a man-hater and you were doing speed dating events.
Yeah.
And like, what was that like, doing these events and also having this like negative?
Well, it was hard too, because with speed dating, the women would sell out and the men I'd had to beg to come. So again, like the man hater almost duplicated with that, because I'm like, how lazy are these dudes that they can't even buy a freaking ticket ahead of time? Do you know what I mean? So that exacerbated it.
It did.
But I think it was the matchmaking. And when I started reading a lot to get into the dating coaching, I started devouring a ton of dating coaching books and a lot about learning about men, that I realized that they just love differently. They communicate differently. They're actually very sensitive, amazing, beautiful creatures too. And society and what the expectations of society have put on them have created this hard shell.
Yeah.
But it's such a beautiful thing when you can actually, and I said this twice, but hold space for a man that can actually open up to you about what he wants and what he looks for. I see it every day when we get a new client through the door, and I actually just allow him to speak on what it is that he wants. Yeah, at the very beginning, depending on the guy, we'll go into looks and we'll go into age and we'll go into all that stuff. But deep down, they just truly want somebody who will care for them, want somebody who will say that they're proud of him, will, allow him to provide, will allow him to love her properly, will allow him to give.
Oh, I like that part.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But that's all they truly want. And if there's any guys listening here, make a comment or do something, because I know that you agree with this. And also, if we were to talk about that, and I know you see this on TikTok a lot, if a man comments on these desires or anything that's against what the dialogue of women have of men in their mind, if they talk on it, they get ripped to shreds. So they just don't speak on it. So how are we ever going to learn if nobody's speaking on it?
Very, very true.
How are we not going to learn how they want to be loved, what they want to do if we're not speaking? And yes, there's a lot of horrible men out there that have done horrible things to women. Like, we're not even going to say that hasn't happened. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that men do in this world that's horrible. But there are so many amazing men out there that are getting dragged through the mud.
So true.
Yeah. So it was that realization for me that really humbled me big time.
Damn. But because you're digging into people, you are really getting to know people.
Yeah.
And that's more than a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
Like I truly think social media, and like if you look at, say, someone's social media presence and you judge them, like you're getting the tip of the iceberg of who people are.
Yeah.
It's when you sit down and you have a face-to-face conversation for like an hour or even a half hour, you know, like, and you dig into who they are, like you can really know them.
Yeah.
And you've done that with matchmaking, and that's why it's been so successful, because you've paired people up based on that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And there's like this feeling that you get, I don't know if you've ever felt it, where you can remove all that those negative feelings. It's just literally washes over your body one day. Like you wake up and a man does something that would piss you off that 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago, you would have been like, oh, men suck. And now you're just like, oh, this is why he's doing that.
Yeah.
This is where it's coming from.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
just
find that
falls out of your body, those feelings of hatred, those feelings of, yeah.
That's so true. Understanding where it comes from.
Yeah.
Is a big thing. And not to react. Not like we're so quick to react and judge.
We are so quick to react and judge.
Just to take that moment of like deep breaths. And certainly don't make excuses.
No.
For men, which I think women can do sometimes,
Oh,
unfortunately. Yeah. And that can be tough.
Yeah.
To navigate that.
Yeah.
But, it's a journey.
It is a journey. So I would challenge all women to just truly start educating themselves. Alison Armstrong's amazing.
Alison Armstrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's on Audible. She's got a couple books out. She just basically talks about the opposite sex, why they differ, and she gets into the deeps of it. And it gives you...
I love shit like that.
Yeah. Alison Armstrong. It's pretty pricey, but I think at Audible membership, it will cover all that stuff for you.
Fuck yeah.
So I would recommend her big time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Damn.
Because nobody teaches this anymore. That's the thing, is that we were, back in the day, we were community based. So we were taught this from our uncles, and our moms would teach us, oh, this is why your father's behaving this way. This is why your brother's behaving this way. But now we don't have that. We come in these small family units, and we're just not learning about the opposite sex and why they do what they do.
And it's so damn important, and understanding, like, even just chemically, how we, like, even just like orgasms, like it's different between men and women.
Yeah. Yeah, because men, when they orgasm, they literally are like, can you just go away for 5 minutes?
They're outputting, yeah. But we have like 5 times the nerves down there.
Yeah. And also we release a lot of oxytocin, which connects us chemically to that man.
Yep.
Even if we're not actually connected to them.
Isn't that wild?
We will emotionally be chemically be connected to them. We'll want all the cuddles, and he'll be like, just give me a minute. And it's just like, yeah, it's a thing.
So insane.
Yeah.
So for yourself, you talk a lot about being a woman of value. I want to get into that.
Yeah.
Because that is one of my favorite things that you kind of teach.
Oh, cool.
And one thing I gotta say too, like if you're listening to this and you're not familiar with Jean-Eva's services, like it's not just like speed dating events or like dating events. Like you do so much on individual mindset of men and women that is like so important. And the women of value thing is interesting because it's really had an effect on me, and it truly, like, I will make decisions sometimes and go, that's not being a woman of value.
Yeah.
And like I can hear your little voice in my in my head.
Oh, good.
And so you talk a lot about being a woman of value and living for your purpose.
Yes.
What does that look like?
So being a woman of value is a couple different things, and it's shifted for me as I've done research and as I've kind of gone through it. But being a woman of value, number one, is integrity.
Yeah.
This is not putting up with bad behavior. Super important in early stage relationships and really hard to do.
Yeah.
So of course there's confidence, integrity. I used to talk about femininity, but less so lately because I believe the feminine and masculine is all very fluid.
Yeah, I actually agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I used to really focus on that and never have it in my heart as something.
Yeah. That's trying to get into a box that you don't fit into.
Yeah, it really truly is. And like, although when I'm out dating, so just to talk about femininity, I believe that it's super fluid in the fact that when I am a business owner running my business, I live in my masculine because to get shit done. Yes. Masculine is getting shit done.
It is.
Feminine is receiving. And so when I move into the dating world, like if I were to go on a date, I need to take a minute and put myself into my feminine.
Same.
Yes. I mean, I'm still very masculine because I can be both, but I do allow myself. And I love living in my feminine too.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can tap into that.
Yeah.
But you're right. That workaholic energy, entrepreneur energy, stand-up energy, very masculine. Mm-hmm. Very masculine thing to do. Yeah. Comedy. And then like that transition is always very weird. And I think people don't always take the time to like embrace that transition into their masculine and feminine.
No, they don't, because they don't understand the power of it. Like a woman's biggest power when it comes to dating and men is our femininity. Yeah. And it's funny because I never have to explain what femininity is to men, but I have to explain it to women.
Isn't that wild?
Men know exactly what femininity is and why it's so powerful. Women are like, do you mean I have to wear a dress and makeup? I'm like, no. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
You're like, what does it mean?
Yeah. You're like, that's interesting because I was going to say, do a lot of women have different ideas as to what that is? Or is it more about an energy and not so much a aesthetic?
It's more of an energy and not an aesthetic.
Yeah,
I truly don't think it's an aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in putting yourself together for a date, being the best version of yourself. I know when I look at online dating profiles, their first picture has no makeup and they're like, I want him to see what I look like all the time. I'm like, oh, come on. Like,
Thank you, Jean-Eva. Can we hear it for the people in the back, please? Thank you. Also, I'm like, lols, I wear makeup every day. This is how I look every day.
but we need a little bit of a glam shot to have that first picture. It's got to be a glam shot.
Absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, I think it's cool to include ones without it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I would totally agree. And I think a lot of men don't usually put their best foot forward with apps. Unfortunately. That's a big problem.
And the reason that they do that is because with men, they feel if they have to put effort in with dating, then they're feeling like they're less of a man.
Yep.
That's been a struggle of mine because the male ego, which, keeps them alive, is like, I don't need any help, especially when it comes to dating. Because when you're in a group of dudes and there's one guy that has a hard time with dating, he is razzed to death. He is razzed and razzed and razzed, and he feels less and less masculine and less like the alpha or any kind of like hierarchy in that group, that for them to go to a matchmaker or go to a dating or a speed dating event or even put any effort into online dating shows that he needs help or something.
And needing help is feminine.
Is feminine.
And not masculine.
And not masculine. And he should know how to do this already, even though nobody teaches it ever in school or anything. So where are these guys learning it from? Who knows?
Father figures, probably like the media, movies,
porn.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me started on that. I've quit porn.
Did you quit porn?
I truly rarely watch it now.
That's amazing. How does it feel?
I mean, like, it's okay. I have trouble getting horny now that I'm not watching it.
You have trouble now, even when you're with somebody?
I don't feel like I have a sex drive currently.
Oh, do you think that has to do with porn?
I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm just not really being in my body.
Yeah,
that could be very well it. Like just not taking the time to slow down and feel.
Yeah,
that's probably a huge part.
It's coming, girl.
Yeah, hopefully.
Slow down and feel.
Hopefully,
that's true.
I got will find love later in life energy.
Okay,
that's what.
Well, you know what? You're gonna be a hot 40-year-old. Like, not even play. And by the way, you should see these creatures that walk through our door at the matchmaking when they're 40 and 50. They are the most beautiful creatures.
Salt and peppers.
Women and men.
It's amazing.
Like, oh my gosh. When they're like, girls are pretty, but when there's a beautiful 50-year-old, she is beautiful.
Right.
Oh,
right. Like lives a life.
Yeah.
Like
is wise.
So interesting.
And like classy.
That was like when I did your Wing Woman workshop, I found it the most interesting was talking to the older women.
Wasn't that so enlightening?
Yeah, like the ones like who've been divorced and like They're just like, I just want someone to have fun with them.
Like literally, they just want to have sex. Like we're talking about the 5 most valuable qualities. The women over 50 are like sex. Sex is what I want. And we're like, oh, I'll have this, I'll have that. Not that big of a deal. But yeah. I actually was talking to a 72-year-old man on the phone today.
No way.
My preconceived notion of what that conversation was going to be, he completely blew me out of the water. He was sharp as a tack. He knew exactly what he wanted. He was easy to talk to. And he showed me a picture of him, and he's handsome. And I'm
God
like,
damn.
72.
Wow, good
I
for
am shocked
him.
all the time. Ageism is a thing that we need to talk about.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
We always like go to the lowest common denominator and think that that's what it is.
It's almost the most important time to have somebody because you're approaching the end of your life. I do a podcast, Canadian Love Map, and our most recent episode was this beautiful story of this couple who were high school sweethearts.
Oh,
had this like 2-year of romance, kind of similar, like high school romance, and then the guy went off and got a job and then didn't come back for a year, and so they parted ways. And they both lived their lives. They both got married, had kids. 65 years later, reunited.
Oh.
Because of their brothers, like, were at a nursing home together and like connected them again.
No,
and they both had lost their partners. So she called him the day after Valentine's Day to console him and being like, I know you lost your wife. I lost my husband. I know how it feels. You're not alone.
Oh.
They start this like phone romance, talking on the phone for hours. And then like she went and visited him in like Ontario, and they got friggin' married within 3 months.
Oh.
And now they're together and happy. And he fucking serenaded her on the podcast. It's like, but like even that just there, like they have nothing bad to say about their former.
No.
Like they're just like literally like this is the multiple soulmates thing again, right? Like the timing thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we all want. Like no one wants to fucking die alone. No one.
Well, there's
Find me a
another
person.
book that came out that I was listening to. I forget what the podcast was.
How to Not Die Alone.
How to Not Die Alone.
What was that podcast? Was it Jared Freed's? It was J Train.
Yeah,
Maybe that's where I heard it.
I can't remember.
Maybe she was on another podcast.
Someone sent it to me. She's like the director of Hinge or something like that, which is my favorite app, by the way. And
Fascinating.
it was a really. I haven't listened to it yet or read it yet.
I think it's similar to what you've been doing with the compound dating.
I agreed with everything she said on the podcast. That's for sure. She was talking about statistics. It's all statistics based when we think about it. Like everybody says, it's not a numbers game. And I'm like, bitch, it's a numbers game.
It is.
It's a numbers game. Yeah.
Damn.
People say that it's not a numbers name just so that they don't remove the romance from it, but it's a numbers game.
I love it. Yeah, it is what it is. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So you are now in a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 5 months, so.
But you're in a relationship. That's 5 months is like almost half a year. That's commendable in my mind.
It's true. Thank you.
How did this happen?
Through compound dating. So I actually, between the first lockdown and our second lockdown in the summer, I've been so cavalier about COVID, you guys. Oh my God. I think if anybody follows me, they know that I've been really cavalier. But we're so blessed to live in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
I think if we were like, whenever we have a lockdown or whenever we have more cases, I'm like, okay, let's chill out.
Yeah.
But the minute there's
you just watch it. Just watch it.
Just watch it.
Absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like I do stand up, so we're also quite cavalier too.
Yes.
We do wipe the mic.
Oh,
That's
good.
one thing we do.
That's one step above. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we do what we have to do.
Exactly.
Keep things going. But so I wanted to test out the compound dating technique prior to teaching it.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know if I expected to meet him, but I kind of wanted to enjoy the process. I actually teach this in all of my Wing Women boot camps now. I teach the compound dating technique, and I take them on the entire journey of who I met, what the date was like, their name, why we ended, why we kept going, whatever it was.
Do you keep a spreadsheet?
Pretty much. It's a spreadsheet.
Oh,
at the time I didn't keep a spreadsheet because I just talked to so many people. My brain is really sharp on who I'm talking to and whatever.
Right.
But I met 33 people. In 3 months, 33 first dates with men. Damn. Talking to hundreds to get that many out. And that's where I met my guy. We actually started talking on Hinge somewhere around the first month. He doesn't know any of this, you guys, by the way. I love this. Which is why I'm not going to say his name. And who's to say if he's going to listen. I asked him not to listen to any of my stuff.
We were talking about this before. I
Yeah.
love that quality. And then someone to just be like, I know you do this crazy thing. I'll stay out. Like, it's like such a good boundary, I think, to put up.
I think it is too. I think it's really important. And he actually has gotten to know me for me. And now that he's starting to dabble in the stuff he does, it's almost like he doesn't like it.
Really?
Yeah. It's almost like he's like, well, you know, I kind of like the Jean-Eva I know compared to the Jean-Eva that is.
Is there a big difference?
I don't know if there's a big difference. I think he chills me out a lot.
Right.
Like when we spend time together, I can like fully go into my feminine, which you talked about. I can fully go into my feminine, and I don't have to lead the conversation. I don't have to lead a group. I don't have to be the knowledge. So I can just.
You're good at talking and listening.
Oh, good.
Which I feel like with some talkers, like they're only good talkers.
Yeah.
And some listeners, like they're only good, like, but you transition really good from like this mode to like earlier when I was fucking talking your ear off in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, like you're really good. And that's
I
like
think a lot of people do have to be good at that.
it's an interesting thing that like you have a podcast, you're doing TikToks, like you're out there. It's always interesting to me, that idea of authenticity and like when you're your true self, and what is your true self, and can your true self be the one that you're putting out there?
Yeah.
Or is it just a less public version of you?
I think
don't know.
it's like you're on and you're off. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, that could be it.
Like for me, I think it's like when I'm on and I'm going buck wild, and like, you better not get in my way because I'm organizing this, I'm planning this is happening. And so, but when I'm off, I can allow other people to lead. I can allow them to take charge. I can allow them to do that. But if I'm on and they try, it's not going to work out well.
Do you have trouble turning on and off?
No. But there are times where like I'll go and hang out with him, and I'll be like, woo,
Ramped.
and then it takes like 2 or 3 hours to kind of chill out, and like sitting in his pretty car and just like chilling while he drives me places. I'm like, this is so much fun.
That's so interesting. So you've truly found someone that is kind of like a little vacation.
He's a little bit, yeah.
When you're with him.
That's a
Like-
good point. I never thought about that. But
Like
yeah.
it's like a sigh of relief.
He allows me to be lazy.
Oh, that's so nice.
Because that's not, I think foundationally I'm very, very lazy, but I haven't been for years. That I think I'm allowed to be lazy around him, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I used to be growing up. My family, we were just very like tight knit. There was 5 of us, me, 2 older brothers, and my parents. Super tight knit, lived in the country, and we were lazy. Like,
Right.
we chilled a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I came out to be a businesswoman, and I just go all the time, I forgot that I love that. So yeah. And also something cool about him that I haven't experienced before is that I knew, like, when we started, first of all, we related on everything. Like everything.
Like agreed on
We've agreed on pretty much everything. I mean, we disagree on some stuff, and we also have very complementary personalities in the fact that I don't like to research. And so I'll literally be like, hey, can you this is something I want to learn about. And then he'll sit down, he'll research it for the week. And then we'll sit down on the weekend and he'll be like, this is what this means. And I'm like, cool.
damn.
So super complimentary there. He knows all about tax law.
Listen, that comes in handy.
It comes in handy big time.
Big time.
And I know that he also has the mindset to grow a relationship. So he doesn't have like one foot out the door. I feel like, I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but he's fully invested in seeing where this goes. Like, I have no doubt that he would ever cheat. I have no doubt that he would ever be talking to other people. I might be wrong, but
Was you initially met on Hinge. What were the first couple dates like?
so it's interesting because I met him on Hinge somewhere around the first month of me starting the compound dating technique, which was still building momentum. He was traveling around places. So we were going to have a first date. I actually canceled on our first date.
That's so funny.
And I never do that ever. But I was dating so much.
Oh, this is another person?
No, it wasn't another person. I was actually out visiting my niece in the valley.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'll be back for the evening on Sunday. Let's meet up. And then the visit with the niece was going really well. And I'm like, oh, you're so right. I won't be back in time.
Right.
He's like, no problem. He then goes off to Amsterdam for work. And then he comes back and quarantines, right? So quarantine means that you're talking sometimes longer with people. So he and I actually talked for a month and a half before we ever met.
Just text or phone?
Text. Never once talked in person. Actually, when he was away, we just stopped communicating completely. And then when he got back, he reached out and he's like, I'm back. I'm like, cool. But I was dating other people. Like I was actually 9 dates in and almost in a relationship with this other dude.
Shut the fuck
when he reached out again.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But because I was compound dating, and the premise of compound dating is that you're dating multiple people, but you're not sleeping with anybody.
Love it.
And when you decide to sleep with somebody, you commit to them. And so
God, I love this shit so much.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah. And it's respectful.
genius.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before. Don't fucking sleep with someone right away.
No, there's no need to.
Don't do it.
I mean, if you're having fun.
I think I just triggered someone who I know might do
that. So sorry for the trigger.
I don't mean that in a slut shaming way at all. I guess what I mean is, if you're truly looking for a relationship,
yes,
it's going to be worth the wait, and it's going to be worth that little extra effort. Because number one, fucking sexual tension is awesome, and so building that shit up is just going to make it better. But also, it's like, yeah, that commitment, like finding a guy who can wait, like.
And that was the coolest thing too, is that like when he and I first started dating, he rose to every single standard that I had. And I didn't have a high amount of standards. I mean, he could probably tell you that. But I would also challenge him, like that integrity point coming out, being a high value woman. I would challenge him when he did something that I didn't think was in accordance to what my standards were. And one huge thing that I know is going to be pivotal in wherever this relationship goes, is that anything I say about like, hey, this is frustrating me about this. I never attack. I never like, you do this, you do that. I'm like, this is what's frustrating me about this right now. He like wants to talk about it then and there. And he wants to fix it. Right then and there. And at that moment, the first time that happened, I was like, ooh.
No, can we talk about this later?
No, it was none of that. And I remember what it was. I actually did a little bit of a freak out, which was an anxious quality, by the way.
Ooh.
I did one of these text messages with nobody should do. So if you ever put this together, if I could ever find it, I would never be able to find it.
I feel like I already know the message, but
what would it be?
I'm just trying to think. So what was the context leading up to this?
So he was really busy at work that week, and we only see each other about once a week. So he was really busy. I was really busy. It was Friday. We hadn't seen each other since the previous weekend.
Was it something like, if you don't want to see me, just tell me?
That's totally what it was. Yes.
Attachment style.
There was an anxious. That is an anxious attachment style message.
It's needy. It's yeah.
And it's not bad, but I've done it is bad. It just
I love that you're not perfect. I'm so happy that you're flawed.
Oh, I am not perfect. And if anybody's been at any of my workshops, you know I will tell you all the dumbass shit that I still do. And I'm considered an expert.
Yeah, but that's good because you know.
Yeah.
You've experienced it firsthand.
Yeah, I still do it. Oh, I would never be able to find it. But it was basically
that's so
like,
funny.
Listen, clearly you're not into me. Otherwise you'd be making the time to see me, which is all of these things that we are fed, with the fuckboys. That's the thing, is that the fuckboys that fuck us around, all of this dating advice that we have to almost keep them in the loop for some stupid reason, we throw that damage at these amazing non-fuckboys.
Yep.
And we scare them away.
And they're not fuckboys.
And they're not fuckboys.
And their intentions are good.
Yeah.
And was he just busy?
He was just busy.
Yeah,
he was just busy that week, and he's not a big texter. And it was literally only 2 months in, maybe 2.5. So he really wasn't invested. Like he shouldn't have been invested in me that much by then.
Right.
So anyhow, I remember calling him the next day because I'm like, well, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm busy. And then I messaged him and I'm like, listen, this is the type of woman I am. If blah, 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 I will walk away. Anyhow, and then I called him the next day because I was so frustrated because I think he ended it with like a okay, whatever, and I was like, so that sound.
Only dogs could hear that.
I was like, what? So then I called him up. I'm like, where are you right now? Oh no, I was like, oh sorry, I was super chill actually. I was like, so like, where are you right now? And he's like, oh, I'm at my parents' house. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll talk later. He's like, no, Jean-Eva, let's talk about this now. What are you talking about? So then, and yeah, then since then, everything that's come up.
When you're in that anxious mode, what does that look like? Like, I'm trying to picture you anxious and freaking out over a guy. And I think it's just because, like, I guess I met you as a matchmaker, so I, in a way, do see you as the all-knowing Jean-Eva who does no wrong. But, like, do you get emotional, like, angry? Like, what emotion comes out when you're feeling like someone's, like, dismissing you?
Yeah. It's not emotional. I'm definitely not sad.
That's good.
Frustrated, angry.
Pouty?
And...
Did you get pouty?
No.
Oh, okay.
I will be challenging for sure.
Just steadfast.
I will. So this is where I kind of thought I confused it with being avoidant is I'll disappear. So like I will literally be like, okay, he's not into me anymore. And then he'll message me and I'll disappear for 24 hours.
So you probably have a combination.
It's an anxious thing that I just sent, but then my reaction
is avoidant.
So,
Absolutely. Because see, me, if that was me, I'd respond right away.
Yeah.
Because I'm full blown anxious.
Yeah.
I'm full blown, don't leave. I want, like, even if I say something to push you away, it's because I want you here.
Yeah. I can literally sleep really well when I'm in anxious mode. I'll force myself to fall asleep.
Wild.
So I can avoid the text messaging exchange.
Do you know what's your highest attachment? Percentage?
I don't know. I think it's like even across all of it.
You should do it now that you're in a new relationship.
I should do it now that I'm in a new relationship. And that's the thing is that when we do those tests prior to not being in a relationship for a while, it's all about conflict, right? So now that we're in conflict, that's when it truly comes out.
Oh, that's truly when your attachment style shows.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not just romantic. It's friendships, family,
business,
family,
business.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, in business, I'm really bad at like, cause I have so many people coming through.
Yeah.
And they're so emotional that like, bam, I'm just done. It's so avoidant in business.
But that's good that you have that because that's the sign of a good businesswoman.
Yeah.
That you can have
you
that.
Gotta do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attachment style. Do you know his attachment style?
Pretty sure it's secure. Maybe slightly, if there's anything, it would be avoidant.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't think it is. I think he's the freak of nature that's fully secure.
God damn.
I know. It's crazy.
Wild.
But I am becoming more secure in all of my choices moving forward too, which I would never have done. And I've said this to him a couple times. Like I did like a last Friday evening, a couple evenings ago. I was like, I'm coming over. And he's like, okay. So then I laid in bed and I was like, okay, so this is what's going on here. Normally I would never do that. I would have just disappeared. I would have gotten more and more angry, but I made myself go and see him and have that hard conversation.
Was it about you or the relationship?
The relationship. Or just something in the relationship that I wasn't meeting my needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
You brought it to the table.
I brought it to the table, which I normally would not do.
And
which is why I've been single. And he ate the meal and we talked about it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And poor guy is just like, Jean-Eva, just be happy. Just stop bringing stuff up. And I'm so happy. But
what people have to understand is that like anytime you enter a new relationship, like you are taking so much shit with you from like your life and like your past relationships and like your past habits that like I'd rather someone lay them out and explain them rather than like for it to come out in weird ways or like weird resentful ways.
Yeah. Well, one trend that I'm seeing, which is interesting, is that I'm having less and less of those conversations as it goes on because we're becking more secure with each other.
Yeah.
Whereas prior to learning all this stuff 3 years ago, which was when my last full relationship was 5 years ago, I guess. Yeah, it was 5 years ago. Anyhow, it would have been the first 3 months was just this whirlwind amazingness. Nothing was brought up because everybody's so perfect. And then bam, 6 months in, you're like, you have no idea how to communicate with one another.
Yeah. You're out of like that honeymoon phase.
All this stuff comes up. Yeah.
It's I wanted to ask you this because you've said before that you encourage being really open early on about things. And I was wondering about that because I find my biggest challenge is being an oversharer.
Okay.
And I get such vulnerability hangovers that it's like a really weird thing to do to share a lot right away.
And now, what are you talking about right away? Like, I'm talking third date, start sharing.
I was on a date once, and I think about this date all the time. How did I meet this person? Was it online Tinder or something? It might have been Tinder or Hinge or something. And like we full blown were getting into like our mental illnesses.
Oh. First date?
First date. It was a long date. It was like a 3-hour date.
Oh, okay.
Like we hit it off. We were having good conversation. And like it didn't go anywhere. And then I walked away from that going, and I just shared my soul with someone.
Yeah. But that's hard because like that is the vulnerable stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not a mixture for romance. So like that's good stuff. Like that's a connection. That's something beautiful that you don't want to discount.
Right. But there just wasn't romance there.
But you have to have a romantic foundation built prior to that.
Yeah. So there's kind of an art to, I guess, sharing and choosing what you share.
And
so
when.
Soon. And when. And even like even just like the example of you, like you have a podcast and like you do TikToks and stuff, and you haven't shared a lot about your personal life.
No.
Is there a reason why? Or like are you just kind of choosing the right avenue to do that?
I don't know. I just don't know if I've actually been vulnerable in that way, especially to an audience before. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So it is quite wild and unheard of, and there's no training for it, right?
No.
So, I mean, I share little tidbits and I'm super honest on all the dumb stuff that I've done, but I've never gone into a deep story of it all because it's a long ass life and there's a lot that's happened.
There's a lot that's happened with you.
Yeah. So I don't know. And there's like, everything's a journey. Like my whole life is broken up into chapters, little 2-year chapters, because I've never not lived. Like never have I looked back on a year and it was the exact same year as that year I just lived. And that's how I've always wanted to live. So like, yeah, it's something that I'm going to write a biography when I'm 60. And then everybody's be like, oh my God, I had no idea. Maybe that will be it.
You gotta start writing because
you should see my journal.
You have a lot.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm curious about the confidence side because this is a subject that comes up a lot. Self-love, loving yourself, getting that confidence. Because like, we both know it's fucking complicated. Fake it till you make it only goes so far. I always say that there's value in fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But it is most certainly not everything.
No.
And it can make you crash and burn if you are faking it too much.
Yeah, for something really important, for sure.
How have you gotten to this point of being this like confident, badass woman?
I know a lot of people ask that.
You clearly are very secure in yourself.
Yeah.
To do what you do and do it so well. So how'd you get there?
I was born quite confident. So let's not
the womb.
I came out the womb shaking the doctor's hand, being like, "What up, bruh?" You know. Actually, like my grade 5 teacher is like, she's got the greatest posture. Like she's so confident. Like
just out the womb with the Libra energy right away.
And then my mom was really amazing at building us up.
Oh, that's so important.
So when we were young, we were built up big time, but not in such a way that the world would destroy us. Because my dad will pull us down. Love you, Dad, but like in a good way. He's not listening because we're talking about sex. So we lost him at minute 20. And but he would kind of like humble us in an interesting way too. So we had the both dynamics of the real world and then the loving, nurturing mother kind of thing. So that kind of bred a lot of confidence as well. My true actual identity of self-love, identity who I was becoming, was after that relationship that I haven't spoken of yet, but it was when I finished my university, which was far too much education for no reason at all. I sold everything that I owned, all of my clothes, all of my everything. I packed a bag. I used to tree plant in the summer to pay for university or just have fun, basically. And I moved into a tent in the middle of nowhere, and I had no decision. I was never thinking of coming back to Nova Scotia. I thought I was never going to come back. I was going to be out there forever, and that's going to be the life I'm living. Not tree planting, but out west. And then basically I had to get the hard knocks. Like I came out of university super idealistic, like everybody does, super idealistic. And basically I was working in oil and gas, and I was up north with all these really rough dudes. And if you're a dummy, they're going to tell you you're a dummy.
Right. You got to rough it.
Oh, you got to rough it. There was my first place. I was at Stat Oil in Conklin. If anybody's up there, listen, knows what that is. There was all men on a 300-man camp, and I was one of 2 women. The other women are up there looking for husbands, basically. There's a lot of professional women up there as well, but currently in this camp, they were just there looking for their husbands. And so people would knock on my door being like, how much, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it was weird. And the guys I was working with had a wager to see who could make me cry first.
What the fuck?
And so they were all treating me like absolute shit for the first 5 days.
I thought male comedians were bad.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Well, because I wasn't sleeping with anybody. So they're like, okay, so there's no protection there.
Ugh.
Right? I was there purely for professional reasons. I'm sure there was more to it anyhow. So that was fun. So that was humbling. But also the build up from that to become a really great geomatics professional. They brought me into the office. I was doing very well. I was very talented. And so that built a lot of confidence in the fact that I didn't have to run to mom and dad for money
you didn't
or
have the
support.
clutch. Yeah.
I actually built myself. So that was just putting myself way outside my comfort zone to build that confidence.
And that's a scary decision to make.
That's a confident decision to make. You have to have foundational confidence to even just do that, to become more confident.
I truly, that's wild.
Yeah, that was fun.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So it's the fierce independence, do you think, that is a defining factor for you?
But then I went completely the other way, which is I became so fiercely independent that I could never
let someone else take care of you.
No. Or even just let anybody else into my life.
Oh, there's like a wall up.
There was a big time wall up, and I was really proud of the confidence that I created. And I think it was based on, I guess it was a trauma response is what I'm learning now, is that that insane independence is a trauma response to not being able to rely on anybody, which I wasn't able to for the first 5 years in Calgary. And so that was like a trauma response that I created, which then turned into man hating. Oh my gosh. I think we're coming full circle now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you became fiercely independent because you never wanted to be in a situation where you had to rely on anyone.
Exactly. Probably. Yeah. Perhaps. It's like you're a psychologist or something.
I love this shit.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah. I didn't really want to rely. I literally couldn't rely on anybody at that time. And so, yeah, that's where the fierce independence came from.
What in your mind back then would have been the worst thing that could have happened if you did rely on someone?
That I probably wouldn't have been the badass independent woman that I wanted to be.
Because it's a sign of weakness, right?
It's a sign of weakness. Yeah, it was me being like, oh, I need to actually ask for help. Like I can't do everything myself, but I can do everything myself.
That's such a thing. Like that whole
yeah,
I can do this on my own. Like I'm the baby in the family, so like my parents literally will never see me as an adult.
Yeah,
like I could be 45 and owning a house, and like they would still be like, well, do you know how to pay your bills? Like they hold my hand through everything, and I don't like it, and it's a big issue for me. And so like asking for now, and it's the same thing, asking for help. Hate doing it. Would rather try to figure it out on my own first.
I still have a hard time doing it.
Oh my God, it's hard.
You'd rather figure it out on your own first.
Well, even just to say that I tried.
Yeah. But like at some point we know how to do so much that we can just decide that we don't have to do it. Like technically we do know, like I know how to change my winter tires. I know how to change my oil. I know how to do all that kind of cool stuff. And it was fun when I was trying to be a badass woman, but now I'm like, I don't even want to do it anymore.
Because you're just like, yeah, I know I could, but
I don't want to. I'm not gonna. I don't want to do it.
But that's like your live event. Like I knew, I was like, I want her to fucking enjoy this.
You saved my life at that live event. I don't know what I would have done, honestly.
Like that was a moment of like, again, workaholic.
Can I tell you honesty right now?
Yeah.
I hated that live event.
Oh, let's talk about it. Can we talk about it?
I know it's not even coming out. It hasn't come out yet. But like I didn't like it.
I was going to talk about this off mic with you, but if you want to unpack it now,
let's do it.
Can.
Yeah.
So let's actually say, this was your first live event for Book of Love.
Yes.
And it was at Pickford and Black.
Yes.
And I offered my help because I knew what it was like for me doing my first like podcast live event and teetering that line between host and event planner, which is like you want to be on as a host, but also like make sure all these details are taken care of. So I was like, let me help you live stream it. And, you know, we worked it all out. But like, I remember thinking that you deserved better from what you got.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Because I found people talked through it too much when they should have been listening to the conversation. But I don't necessarily think that like a restaurant is a good environment for that. Yeah,
they were there having dinner and stuff like that. I don't think it was so much the talking that I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that I wasn't fully prepared for it.
You didn't seem unprepared.
Oh, really? I didn't feel prepared at all.
What made you think that you weren't?
I don't know. I don't know. Everything is so perfect. Like my events are so perfectly run because I've done so many of them. It's probably just a first event.
It could be. Yeah, it could be like your perfectionism coming out.
Probably that. And like, I mean, when I listen to it, I know once Mark edits it and sends it out, I'm going to love it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Well, that could be also like what we talked about before, that event depression.
Oh, yeah.
Afterwards.
I think so.
Where you're like, you know, it's not your only chance to do an event, but it feels like it was.
Yeah.
And that like you ruined it.
And I would have been happy. Like I wish it was just 3 tables, but it's sold out in 12 hours. And I was like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, wild.
It sold out in 12 hours. And like the whole place booked. I was hoping it was going to be like 3 tables of my closest people and maybe a couple of amazing clients that like are my biggest followers, but it's sold out. And like that was their social outing of the month.
Yep.
So like I wanted
How
to
cool
be
is that?
That's pretty cool.
But do you think everyone else had fun?
I think so.
Then there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't think you seemed unprepared at all. You had questions prepared. You had a whole system with what's your friend's name?
Zara.
Yeah. You had a whole system with her.
I know, and she brought out her cleavage for it.
I thought, but this is again, like I feel like every creator, business person, anyone who's like,
and your live show was so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Like I wanted again, your live show.
I didn't feel unprepared at all for that, or I didn't feel prepared.
Okay.
For that at all. I was a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's just like smoke and mirrors is what it is.
Yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors because like when we're watching someone like in a performative state, like we have no idea what's going on inside their head.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And I thought you did great.
Oh, thank you. You're a sweetheart. And I know in hindsight, like it'll be fine.
I would have never been able to have done what you did. Like, because I have such bad ADD that I know if I was in a busy place and trying to have this type of conversation, I would not be able to.
Yeah, I don't think that it was the conversation. I kind of liked that the conversation was going on because it meant that people were having fun.
Ambiance. It was ambiance.
Like I enjoyed it. And it was kind of cool when the second guy came on, Matt.
Oh, he's fascinating.
Everybody quieted right
I remember
down.
turning to Mark and going, it's because he's a guy that they're all listening to.
I don't know. He had some really interesting things to say.
He did. Yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, number one, emotionally intelligent male.
Yeah. And I brought him on for a reason because Patricia, my matchmaker, fun, flirty. We talked about flirting. So much fun, light stuff. I brought him on because I wanted to bring the heaviness.
I love it.
And then finished off with the beautiful Sarah from Rival and Queen, which again is fun, flirty, beautiful. But like I needed him there to kind of like
he's like the sandwich.
He was the sandwich.
The meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, between these beautiful pieces of buns.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, very different vibe but like very smart and like didn't like his stance on astrology, but we'll let that pass.
He said
Matt?
no.
Is it Matt?
That was everybody. You didn't raise your hand that you liked astrology.
I betcha he's a Virgo. Let me get that fucking birth date. Virgo or Capricorn.
I have his birthday. I'll have to send it to you.
I would just love to like talk to him and like
oh my gosh, I want to do something like your live show.
Yeah,
like where you had those. The Tinder was hilarious.
Yeah, I really made it like very interactive and
well, we should do a live show together and then we can bring on, like you said,
we gotta do the match, like some sort of match game situation.
Match game. I can get some people up there, some sort of like questions.
It'll happen.
Yeah,
and I would be honored to do it with you.
Yeah,
and I think the combo of like I just picture a combination of like putting you with someone like a Scott McLean, who's like this ball busting male comedian, I just feel would be so funny because you would not let him get away with shit. And that's the exact person I need paired with someone like Scott McLean.
Cool.
So yeah, no, we're gonna make fun stuff.
Challenge accepted.
We're gonna make fun stuff happen.
Challenge accepted. But yeah, maybe it was the after depression.
It could be
Like,
the
when I
after
hear it all.
depression, but also like imposter syndrome is huge. Everyone,
thing.
literally everyone has it. There's not one guest I've had on this show who can literally go, I deserve everything I have. Like,
I know.
everyone has that small little thing where they're like you saying, they came for me. Why'd they come for me?
Yeah.
And it's like all of us are around you going, of course they came for you. They're great. You're great. like we just don't see ourselves
And you know
through
how,
the eyes
like,
of other people.
when people
at
are
all.
accepting like Grammys or something like that, they're like, this is so humbling. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? It's humbling. But now I'm like, this is so humbling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
Because you're now seeing, like, you know, you do a podcast, you put it out, you see downloads or whatever, but you're now seeing those people as
You're seeing those faces.
physical people in a room,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, listen, you'll have more.
yeah. I know. I'm excited to do more.
Do fucking more.
Yeah.
I would charge cover so you can make some money.
Yeah.
Just
this one was
saying.
free. Yeah. That's true.
First one's free.
First one's free. Women come for free. We had some hottie guys there too.
It was a really good event.
Yeah. It was fun.
really, really good.
Yeah.
You gotta stop beating yourself up about that. But that's an event planner thing.
I think it is.
For sure.
Yeah. You have to be crazy to plan events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to start a business. What kind of advice would you give a woman or man or whoever you are who has like a passion and they want to make that happen? Like they want to do a business, launch a business, or like, because you've truly done it. And you've not only have you done it, but you've grown it, which is insane.
I know. Yeah.
And like you're doing better than ever. So like, what advice would you give?
My advice is always action. Like we can plan all day long, but it's the action that makes the difference. So there's
Ding, ding, ding,
so,
ding, ding, ding,
yeah.
ding. Do it.
Just
Don't talk
act.
about it.
Don't talk about it. Stop planning. You can only plan so much. Like you can plan when you're in bed, staring at the ceiling. You don't have to be writing this stuff down. You don't have to have the perfect business plan. You don't have to. And I know this goes against everything they're teaching at Mount St. Vincent. They're going to hang me up. But like, just start acting. You're going to make a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
You're going to do it wrong. I mean, there's still mistakes that I'm making where I'm like, ugh, like people watched me do that. I'm going to back away from that. Do you know what I mean? So there's still mistakes that I'm making, but I'm acting. I'm like not, and I'm doing all the time.
Yep. When you came over that night,
Yeah.
we actually did things like, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't just tell you how to set up OBS. We fucking did it.
We opened it up.
And did. And that is such a fucking thing that like, I hate it when I see people who I know have told me months ago, I'm going to start a podcast. This is my idea for this awesome podcast.
Well, then do it.
Do it. Where is it? Where is it?
Buy a mic and go do it.
Do it.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
I know it's like cliche advice, but like truly.
And
just
that's
do it.
again living in fear. That is again living in fear. If you are over planning and you are talking, like, yes, I did talk about starting a speed dating company for about 6 months. And then bam, I just booked one in. But like, yeah, I was talking about it, but just kind of like briefly. And then I just did it.
Dive in, even if you're not ready.
And then your following and everything will guide you on what needs to be done. Like what I created, it's unique to any other matchmaking company because I listened to what Nova Scotia wanted. It wasn't me building it for me, and it wasn't me building it to make the most money. It wasn't me building it for this. It was me building it based on what my followers wanted next.
You saw a need.
I saw a need, and I listened to what people were saying about
That's
it.
huge.
Yeah.
Talk to the people that you want to reach. Figure out like who they are. How
Yeah.
they, you know, like, oh man, that's a huge thing to just talk to people.
Yeah. And it evolves. Like the people that followed me when I first started compared to the people that are following me now, like it's evolved, the type of people. And it evolved. It shifts every 6 months. Like I'm in the single industry, so people aren't going to be single forever. So my following is constantly going to be evolving. Like I'm not going to have the same people months and months in.
It's lots of turnover.
Lots of turnover.
Which is good because it means that they're
same with clients. Lots and lots of turnover.
That's funny that it's like a business where it's like you want the turnover.
I know.
Hinge, like you
Exactly.
Hinge is saying is like we want you to delete this app.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is when people come to me, they're like, how many people are in the book of love? I'm like, honestly, I want it to be empty. Otherwise, I'm a horrible matchmaker.
Yeah.
So we don't want huge numbers because then we're not doing our job right.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you're also forming newly aware and smart humans.
Yeah.
And it's not
if they allow me to do
always
that.
just about matching them up because like you're doing that mindset stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you're teaching baby birds how to fly, essentially.
If they allow me to teach them how to fly, a lot of baby birds think that they know how to fly, but they don't. Most baby birds don't know how to fly. There's rarely, I think out of like all the 550 people in the book of love, there's maybe 3 that I think wouldn't have needed any coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you find it hard to be assertive? And like as a businesswoman?
I find it hard saying no to potential clients. That would be my biggest assertiveness, only because I've seen so many people that I probably would have turned away at the very beginning partner up.
Right.
So that's my hardest thing is potentially turning away clients because I'm like, what if that's the person that's going to partner up? You know what I mean? What if like it's a teacher? Like if I don't teach this person, if I give up on this person, maybe they're going to be the president or they're going to cure cancer.
And usually when you turn people away, is it because they're just not coachable? Or is it there are other
it's usually mindset.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, uncoachability would be the main reason I turn people away. Uncoachability, unkindness, and kind of like this know-it-all attitude is usually a good reason.
Yeah.
I honestly rarely turn people away. Sometimes I just allow them into the book of love and then they just remove themselves eventually because they realize that it's work.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in there there's a lot of people out in Halifax right now that hate me. Because I was, I didn't give them enough matches or I didn't, or I said something to them that was offensive, which is part of coaching, you guys. If you're coming to a matchmaker, I'm going to tell you when you're doing something wrong.
How do you how do you deal with that? Like the idea of like people, like, do they ever actually give you like the negative feedback to your face? Or
yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, the thing about being a matchmaker too is that the feelings that they're feeling about the date is not going towards that person, it's going towards their matchmaker.
Yeah.
So if they had a bad date that I sent them on,
it's Jean-Eva fucked up.
It's Jean-Eva fucked up. Which I'm happy actually that I take the brunt of that because then I can take all that negativity and just kind of like shake it off because I'm used to it. I'm just so glad it's not getting thrown back out into the dating world to create another damaged person that will go and damage more people. So I don't mind
doing God's work here.
Doing God's work. Not really. But like, I don't mind taking that on at all. Sometimes it's heavy.
Because you have a process too. So like when you go on a date through her, normally like you would then call each person and get their opinions on the date.
Yeah.
And from that you can probably figure out why it's not happening again. Yeah. And would you say most times it's like I'm not attracted, I didn't feel a spark. The spark thing. I know you hate that word.
You know how I feel about sparks.
Sparks.
I don't know. I think honestly the majority, I'm getting so good at my job. I'm getting so good at matchmaking that like usually most of my clients will be like, yes, I actually really enjoyed that date. I enjoyed the conversation. Not like the worst thing that I'm getting lately is I'm not sure if we're fully there.
It's the uncertainty.
Physically.
Right.
But I'll go in a couple more days to see.
Okay, that's
a lot of what we're getting.
Okay.
Then we get a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, that was great and I can't wait to learn more about them. We get a lot of that. Rarely do I used to get this a lot at the beginning, people that are like, how dare you send me out with this person?
Oh my gosh.
I used to get that a lot at the beginning. Rarely do I get that now.
Really?
But that's a lot of filtering too. That's a lot of filtering out the negative attitude.
Oof.
Yeah.
That was a lot of anger there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You deal with a lot.
It's fun. Yeah, I do. But it's fun. It's fun. There's like so much greatness because like all of that negativity that happens, it can build up and it can build up. And then that email comes in where it's like, just wanted to update you. We met here and this is our photo shoot that he bought me for this thing.
Stop it.
Here's us. And like I get those and all of the negativity that happened the previous 2 months is gone.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So like in your mind, do you actually define success as couples or do you see it as more of like I've just made someone who can now go out and date?
Oh my gosh, that's the best question.
Or is it both?
You're so good at this. Such a great question.
Well, I'm just curious because, like, I do feel like I feel like it should be both because, I mean, obviously you do want people to match. But I think like so much of what you do like has changed. Like, I mean, I've only gone on one date through you, and I've done your workshops, but like it's been a huge impact on me. And I think anyone who does your training, are now going to enter the world more aware, smart, and hopefully more dateable people.
Yeah. It's interesting. Okay, so quantifying success as a matchmaker is couples. So technically I do want
it's couples. A metric that you need.
It's a metric that I need. So ideally I would love lots and lots and lots of marriages and babies and couples. But I think it's so interesting. I think it's that person that finally understands how to research them. That like you're someone who's become more dateable. They understand dating. They understand how it works. They feel empowered. They don't feel frustrated about it anymore.
No fear.
There's no fear there. They can choose to not date for months and then have the skills to decide to date again and be successful at it. There was this group of 6 girls prior to Christmas. We had done a boot camp, and each one has gone through something different.
Oh, wow.
So 6 gals, I'm trying to think back. One gal, for example, she just figured out through the boot camp that she doesn't want to date. She wants to invest in her female friendships and she wants to invest in her self-love. Aww. She figured out what her attachment style was. And
I love it.
That's what she's doing. She's not actually dating at all out of the boot camp.
But she got that out of it. She realized that out of your boot camp.
Yeah.
Which is honestly...
Or she knew it before, but this just was the catalyst.
And I mean, I'll fight fucking Sex and the City. I'll say it again, but the most important relationship you're gonna have is with yourself.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you can't have other relationships, but like you gotta get that one figured out.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing too.
That's beautiful.
And then, for example, I have this amazing man that I'm coaching right now, and he's like, you are a queen. You are amazing. Like, you are a
People
magician.
People call you queen a lot.
Queen Eva is my
Queen Eva.
But he's like, you're amazing. You're a magician. You're this. He came to me ready to be coached. He came to me fully prepared to invest in this process. And his first date was, oh my gosh, he doesn't shut up. He won't ask me any questions, blah, blah, blah. He talks nonstop. Now, whoever he wants is who he can get.
No way.
Yeah, and all he wanted when he first came in was a girlfriend, and now he's like, man, this is the first time I've ever been good with women, and you want me to pick somebody? I'm like, you have to pick somebody. You need to give me that success rate.
Like, I want to play around a bit.
I know. And I'm like, the power that I'm giving you. I mean, he's a genuine gentleman, so he's not going to abuse it. But like that was amazing.
But you've trained someone who's now really good at dating.
Yeah.
And then that is like opening up the next step, which is to find this person. So
exactly.
like, even if you're not making couples, like you're still getting people closer to that.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
I know. So even if I just have equipped him with the skills to go out and find it himself, although I think I did introduce him to his woman.
Gosh, that's
I think I did. They're still just in the early stages, and he's avoidant. So I think he's kind of like, oh my gosh, she's so great, but I'm not sure. So we shall see what happens there.
What about success for you personally? What does that look like? Personal life, not at all business.
Oh, what?
I just broke her mind. Just like,
I know.
Wait, something exists outside of that? Like, what's your ideal? But I know that like the happiness question is a big one. But like when you think of what it is to be truly happy and fulfilled personally,
well,
what's that?
We're going to talk about the future.
Oh, I'd love to talk about that.
Because right now I'm in hustle mode and I'm going to hustle for a very long time. And by a long time, 5 to 10 years.
Jesus Christ.
My main goal is to franchise this business. So my main goal in business is to franchise it across Canada, because I've created a system that is duplicatable and it's geared towards small city dating for the normal person.
Yep.
So you go to other matchmakers, it's $10,000, it's all leads, it's all millionaires, it's all this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. That's your prerogative.
That's good in Manhattan.
It's good in Manhattan, Toronto,
Yeah.
Vancouver, not for
here.
Halifax, and not for Thunder Bay, and not for Saskatoon, and not for
Hamilton.
Victoria,
Yeah.
Hamilton, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my main goal, is to franchise this business, and then my main goal personally is to get time back into my life. So I want to create a business or create a system or an income stream that just comes in independently, so that I can start getting my time back. So,
I've heard people talk about this. It's the idea of
being
you're
financially independent.
It's almost like when you invest in like a retail property or something.
Exactly.
So you hustle to get that under, and then you actually create revenue that comes in regularly.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to work anymore. Which is, I think. I don't know if it was your podcast that you said. Was it all podcasts blend together? I listen to so many. But it's like a rich person's mindset. So like, you know, you can like work your hourly wage and like spend your money and like work. But like a rich person will invest because they'll make more money, and not just money, but their time, like you said.
Yeah.
Get their time back.
You get your time back. And I also want to employ a lot of people. Like that's one thing that we don't talk a lot about, because in today's economy, we're such in like just trying to keep our head above water that thinking about employing somebody is like, oh my gosh, I want to create a system where I can create business people, little matchmakers across Canada, and they can employ employees.
Yeah.
Like I want to employ people.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I want to matchmake. Yes, I want to do that. Yes, I want to create tons of babies and tons of marriages, but I want to employ people.
You want to be the head honcho.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Or just that person that's there and it's like, oh, she's the OG. Does anybody know what she looks like? Who knows? You know what I mean? But I'm living in Hubbard's and I'm just like, and I want to have something where I will have a charity that I can give back. Like my main charity would be to partner up with young women later in high school. Cause this was me. I was like on the level of either going down the wrong road or going down the right road.
That age, 16.
I went Fortunately, I went down the right road. But it could have taken the tiniest little tap and I would have gone down the wrong road. And so I want to create a charity or something of some sort of organization where we partner up these women, these young girls with younger women in like early university years.
Oh, I love it.
To show them what they could be if they applied themselves a little bit. And I also want to educate women on how men think. I want to educate young boys on how women think so that we can create healthier couples. So I want that to be a platform that we can roll across Canada as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
So I don't know if that answers your question. I guess that was all still very business.
You kind of got to it when you said Hubbard's. So
I know. So yeah.
So you want to? That's amazing. You want to buy your time back. What you gonna do with that time? What's Jean-Eva doing when she has 2 weeks off? What does that look like? You want to be in Hubbard's?
Probably I'll be in Hubbard's. Probably I'll bring all my nieces and nephews. And if I have kids, they'll be coming there. And it's like a little summer vacation that all my nieces and nephews can come to. I do really want that house that's kind of always has all the toys. I want the house that has the Sea-Doos.
You want to entertain.
And I don't actually want to entertain because I want my house to be open so that the family decides that they want to come.
They can just come and use everything.
Just use everything. I don't want to actually have to entertain or cook or anything. The only payment that they have to give me is cook 5 meals and put them in my freezer.
I love that.
And then I'll be traveling the world. I'll be doing speaking stuff. I won't necessarily be there, but it's that space that like the family and the loved ones can come to.
Home base.
Yeah. And I think like, honestly, my parents are so in love that one of them is probably going to pass away before the other one does. And I want to bring my parent into my house.
That's really sweet.
So I want to have that sustained there. So
family means a lot to you, eh?
Yeah. Family is kind of my everything.
Do you want kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. It depends. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think that's every independent woman over the age of 35.
I know, right? It's always it always starts with one answer and then they go, no. Like
it depends.
Always a little hesitation.
What do you think?
No, I don't want them enough to be a single mom. Is my very
I don't want them enough to do
response.
Like any stuff, like any in vitro. I don't want them that much.
Yeah. That's where I'm like, if I found someone where I had a comfortable life, and podcasting is quite cushy. If you can make it work, you can do it anywhere, you can do it at home. Like, you know, that maybe, but like I've had to fall out of that. I've had to fall out of love with that idea.
Okay.
Because it feels impossible.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm turning 34, single for 10 years. It seems like an unrealistic thing for me to get my hopes up about.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Which I'm trying to take that and not be negative about it, but more so just go, oh, well, there's so much I want to fucking do. Mm-hmm. And there's so much I am going to do. Mm-hmm. So much I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And that's a bonus if it happens.
And there's other people that you can add value to, and it may not be your biological children, but there's lots of other little ones or even just humans that you can add value to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be kids.
Yeah. Mentorship program. Like if you want to be like a big sister.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Oh, I would
love to do that.
And like my mom said, like if someone said you had to jump off this, you can't have children, but if you jump off this bridge, you will have children. Mom would jump off that bridge. I'd be like, fuck that. No. Do you know what I mean? Like that's your determination on if you want to have how badly.
That's very
kids.
true.
There's a lot of women and men out there that are like, you can't have kids, but if you shot this baby in the face, I don't know why I said that, but like if you did this
crazy terrible thing,
yeah, you would be able to have children. A lot of people would think about it. I don't know why I said shoot that baby in the face,
and a lot of people. Yeah, they want that so bad, and for whatever reason, if fertility isn't working for them, like I always think about people like, and that's why I go, if I were to get knocked up, I probably would keep it. Mm-hmm.
Actually, me and my guy said that. He was trying to figure out my birth control, and he was like, he was like, well, what would happen if you got pregnant? I'm like, well, at this point, I'd probably keep it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're at that age. It's that age, the mid-30s. Like, oh my God, mid-30s.
Yeah.
But it is that where it's like, well, I still have, women are having kids in their early 40s. So it can happen in 10 years time if we wanted to.
Absolutely.
But it is that age where you go, is this my chance?
Yeah.
Because fertility does dip after 35.
And I think of it less as like, is this my chance? And more of like, I could provide something amazing for this little baby. Whereas in my 20s, I couldn't.
Yep, that's true too.
I
usually say like, I don't know if I want kids or not, but I know I'd be a good mom.
Yeah.
Is usually what I say.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think anyone who's like created something like a business or like a venture would be a good mom. Cause they would just take that energy and put it into like the little baby, they will put it into like raising that child.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. What about you? What would be your main like personal goal in the future? Have you ever dream build at all on like what your vision is?
I only usually see 1 to 2 years in advance, honestly.
Okay.
Just because it's taken me so long to even get to this point where I'm working in my field.
Right.
I want a bigger apartment.
Yes, queen. Do it. My apartment is the size of this living room, just so you know.
I want a really nice, renovated, big apartment with a whole studio. I want to have a podcast studio. Ideally it has a partner in it, but it's okay if it doesn't.
You'll have a partner.
It's okay if it's kind of like I've just kind of had this realization of like I no longer need it. It would be nice. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't happen, I will still achieve the things I want. It's just going to be pricier. Mm-hmm. Like it's just going to be a little more money for me to go to Greece.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to go to Greece. I'm at that age where I think, and it could be midlife crisis moment and like getting older and realizing that I'm getting closer to 40 and where it's like, I'm not going to wait for a guy to like make these things happen for myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, smart.
Yeah. Like going to Greece. Like that's something I really want to do. I do really want to travel. Hopefully COVID goes the fuck away so I can do that.
Piss off.
I just want more balance in my life. That's my main goal.
Have you ever not done something because you don't have a guy? I've never, ever done that.
Yeah, actually.
Really?
Just little things like going to the movies alone.
Okay, I've done that, yeah.
Dinner. And not so much guy, but even just other people, right? Mm-hmm. I used to never eat alone at a restaurant. Now I fucking love it.
I know, me too. I go sit at the bar.
Fucking love it. Yeah. I love taking myself out for brunch.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like choosing happiness. Like I'm choosing to be happy. Mm-hmm. I'm accepting my place and where I'm at. Mm-hmm. But like I don't want to fucking die unhappy. Mm-hmm. So like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. Why am I moping around going, why am I single? I'm so great. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I'm literally wasting time.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Literally wasting time.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is I think it was on your podcast actually when your most recent guest, like she was talking about how
Brittany?
like
Amazing.
yeah, tomorrow's never promised.
No.
And that is something I do have a very unhealthy obsession with death. I think about it a lot. It's a therapy thing. I got to talk about it in therapy, but it does really put the fear in you to be living and embracing each day. And you want to get a fucking ice cream, get it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh no, that was Melissa.
Oh yes.
A surprisingly impactful episode.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how I was gonna like her at first because she was very quiet.
She's very quiet.
and soft spoken, and then I got so into it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful thing too. I mean, I'm a loudmouth, but the power of somebody who's soft spoken and thoughtful and slow.
Yep.
People slow down and listen. I've never experienced that before, but it's something I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stand up especially.
Oh, really?
It's hard to not talk so fast because you have to get through all your jokes and you have to get to the next, and you only have 5 minutes. And it's actually insanely powerful when, especially a female comic, slows down because it almost commands the stage.
Yeah, it
in
would.
a weird way.
I know.
Because like, oh, she doesn't feel like she has to speed up.
Yeah.
What's she gonna say?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So,
yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm always actually quite shocked. Are you ever shocked about which podcast does the best?
Shocked. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes, but I mean, like they all do kind of about the same. But yeah, sometimes I'll get jumps in people where I go, that's someone that, and it's not so much about like tone or like speed of talking, but like personality. Like I've had, you know, like I mentioned Scott McLean. He's a problematic comedian in the Halifax scene. A lot of people don't like him. It's always an episode that I get usually the most amount of comments on going, that was a great episode. Because we disagree and we there's conflict, but it's healthy conflict. Yeah. And it's a conversation. Yeah. So it's interesting.
That's why I'm excited for John Berger, the writer of that book, because like, it's not that I disagree with him. I agree with a lot of the things he says, but yeah, I'm excited for
You're
that
going to
interview.
challenge him.
I'm going to challenge him. And I'm sure he's had it a lot of times before.
Oh, for sure.
But like the first half of the book, I was like, this is amazing. And then he goes into online dating and how he doesn't like it. I'm like, that's problematic. But
right.
Yeah. Because everybody hates online dating.
Really encourages people to meet people in the wild, so to speak.
Which I do too. Like it's all one tool in your toolbox. But we do have to see the value in online dating for what it is. But we can't use exclusively online dating. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, you shouldn't do, I think, exclusively one or the other.
You shouldn't do exclusively matchmaking.
You should be doing everything.
You should do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Even the swiping. Even though it sucks sometimes, fucking sucks sometimes. I had a psychic reading that was like, she said, she's like, your guy is actually looking for you too.
Yeah.
So and she goes, if you ever get the urge to get on an online app, you should take that urge and get on and swipe. And I just go, have you ever been online? I literally never had a moment of like, Tinder. Like, Tinder is calling my name.
That little psych is working for us. That's the thing, is there's somebody out there. There's lots of people out there that will, when you meet them or anybody meets them, they're going to be like, how dare you make me look for you this freaking long? Right? Do you know what I mean? Like they'll be so happy to have met you. Yeah. I truly believe that there's tons of people out there that will think that about meeting you and everybody.
Yeah, that's so true.
We just have to get out there and meet them.
There's a lid to every pot. Is that what you said?
There's a lid to every pot. I actually got that from the CBC. Miriam, the producer, called me and she was super excited about the work I did. And we went on.
Oh my God, you had so much news coverage recently. That's right.
My gosh, Valentine's Day is craziness. My entire schedule is booked up for 2 weeks.
And they reach out to you?
Yeah, they reach out to me. They're looking for stories, you know what I mean?
It's amazing.
So Miriam, who's this amazing producer for CBC, she was super fascinated with matchmaking. So we had a 45-minute conversation, and that's her line. There's a lid for every pot. I used to call it a jack for every gel, but I like the lid for every pot. I really believe that's true.
It's gender neutral.
Yeah.
It's a gender neutral.
Exactly. Which, by the way, I really want to start refocusing back on the LGBTQ community. It's hard with COVID to kind of launch something like that.
Right.
But I am going to hire another LGBTQ matchmaker if you know anybody.
Hey, yeah, put a call out. Yeah, if anyone's interested in working with Jean-Eva. If you dug this conversation, and you're a member of that community, you could help that community out.
Yeah, absolutely. I really, really, really want to refocus on that again.
Damn.
Yeah.
You've got so many. What are your? I'm gonna end with 3 more questions, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
What are your like future plans for? Well, you said it. You want a franchise. You want a franchise. But okay, actually, let's plug. You have an event coming up, don't you? On like March 6th or something.
We have 3 events coming up. They're pretty much all sold out.
Oh, really?
Yes, they just sold out now. Well, all the women tickets are sold out for all 3.
Oh, okay. Yes.
We have 1 ticket left for Saturday, and that's ages 25 to 33. So this Saturday, which is the 20th. And then we have the 33 to 42, and that is, I think we have 2 male tickets left, and everything's sold out. And then we just launched our 43 to 57 today.
Amazing.
Women sold out in 20 minutes. I have women who are yelling at me all day long. If you were to look at my text messages right now, it's all these women being like, I've been waiting for this event since October. Like, how do I get on to the next one? I'll buy my ticket now. I'll pay you triple. I'll do all this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Knocking at the door.
What?
They're knocking at the door
They're
for you.
knocking at the door. And we're starting to
Wild.
get a lot of influx of men in that age range as of late. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that. But we have 8 tickets left for men in that event.
And I truly can't recommend the speed dating enough. It's really fun.
It's a blast.
And it's quality people.
Yeah. And we get 1 new couple out of every event.
There you go.
You might be it.
You might be it.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've talked for almost 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
I end my episodes with 2 questions now.
Okay.
You might not have gotten these the last time you were on.
Cool.
I want you to tell me something you love about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it about business or I'll kick your ass. And something you don't like about yourself, that you really hate about yourself, that you're working on.
Okay, cool. So I love, oh gosh, you're probably not, let me think about this. Things that I love about myself. I love that I'm there for the people I care about most.
There it is. That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that I will, like, my family and everything, I will drop everything to be there with them and like do what needs to be done. I feel like I'm the glue in the family at the moment. Less so because I have less time, but yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
That's pretty much the thing I love most about myself.
A good
personally.
friend. Great friend.
Because apparently I have to talk personal. And then the thing I dislike about myself that I want to work on, I know you want me to say I'm a workaholic, but I'm not. I'm just a purpose-aholic.
She's the best. You're the best workaholic I know. Because you're truly just like, oh, no, I'm loving this. And I'm like, I'm tired. Fuck.
It's because I picked a social business.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, literally what I do all day long is talk to new people and send them out on dates. Like,
and you really love what you do.
Yeah, I really do love what I do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I hate anything about myself.
I love that answer.
I don't think I do.
Like, do you hate that you don't hate?
No.
There's nothing that, like, your work, even just small little things.
Oh my God. I have no idea.
That's wild.
I'm sure something will come up to me when I'm like asleep.
Right,
I'll wake up and be like, oh yeah, I hate the middle finger.
What about judging yourself on events?
No, because I think that that's important to be better.
Ding, ding, ding. That's
so I don't think that that's a bad thing. I like to challenge myself, and I
makes a good event planner.
And like I'm a perfectionist, but I'm not really at the same time because I act a lot. Like
you're not an insane perfectionist.
No.
Like yeah. You're not. I wouldn't see you as like a bridezilla.
Okay, here's something I don't like about myself.
Ooh, here we go.
And it's actually a good quality for some people, or some people need to work on it. I can snip people out of my life like a motherfucker.
That could be a good thing. Or why do you think it's bad?
I think it's bad because sometimes I don't give people a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, that makes sense.
I can snip really, really easily, and I won't even look back. I won't even think about it twice.
God damn.
Yeah.
God, let me tell you, there is no woman that I want to see. I want to see your birth chart so bad because I can see Scorpio in there.
Oh, really?
I can see with what you just said. Yeah, because Scorpios are very much so like once you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
I see Sagittarius with like the adventure and like always want to do new things. I just would love to see your fucking birth chart. And I don't care what you think about that, Matt. Is that
yeah, Matt. Yeah, Matt, stop it. We don't care.
Show me your birth chart and let's analyze that.
But like, I think there's a lot of people that need to snip more people out of their life. There's a lot of negativity that people are allowing into their life by allowing people into their life.
Oh my gosh, 100%. Like cutting off certain friendships is like, it's number one, really hard to do, but it's such an important thing to do. I can see you being someone who's like good. Are you good at setting boundaries? Like if someone's like, do you want to do this thing? I'm like, you really don't want to do the thing?
I won't do it.
There you go.
No, there's no way in hell.
That's
Sometimes
perfect.
I get influenced a little bit just to try it, but rarely.
Right.
Yeah. Rarely.
Boss ass bitch here.
And I won't ever make excuses either. Like if I don't want to do something, it's not like something came up. It's like literally, I just don't want to do this today.
Love it.
Yeah.
More people need to say, I don't wanna.
Yeah.
You gotta say that more. Why are we doing? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm busy. When you know you're not busy, you just don't want to go.
We need to put ourselves in the other person's shoes too when it comes to stuff like that. Because, for example, if I say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" and they're like, "Yeah," but then they come and they don't actually want to be there.
Yeah, and it's so obvious.
I'm like, why didn't you just tell me that you didn't want to come? I would much prefer you just be happy not being here. I mean, it's sometimes people's other reactions, but if we're just like, yeah, if we don't want to be somewhere or we don't want to do something,
say
it, because I'm sure the other person, if they care about you, they would prefer that you just tell them no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We gotta start doing that.
Yeah. Because I know that I'm borderline bossy. So if I say, hey, do you want to do this? And they say, sure, but they don't actually want to, I would just much prefer they tell me no, I don't want to. And then I can find somebody else and it'll be fine.
Yeah. And see, I kind of say it, but like I will use language like, I'm not really feeling it. Like I use vague language or dances around it. But I think that's just a woman thing that I gotta get over.
Yeah.
That's such a woman thing to just kind of sugarcoat and dance around and not say exactly what it is.
But we do that for a reason. We do that for safety.
Yeah, that's true.
And we do it just because like women are raised to be like little pleasers.
So true.
Which is great. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, just say no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Hell no. Well, you've officially Rogan'd it. We're at 2.5 hours.
God.
Oh my
Everybody
gosh.
knows everything about me. I feel so naked.
Is there anything else that I didn't touch on?
No. No. All I want to say, and
I tried to
like,
peel some layers back.
You did pretty good. I mean, we didn't get all. I have to have something for the book, Sarah.
We got to save it. Okay. And like, this is where we have to plug everything that you do, every single thing. So plug away.
Okay, cool. So actually, if you go to my Book of Love podcast, I'm doing a series and you inspired me. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-month series or a 6-week series, but 6-month series. The beginning of every month, I'm going to do an episode which is telling my story.
Woohoo! Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, it's congratulations on your 200th episode.
Keep plugging. We're going to do the plugs and then we'll pop it.
Okay, cool.
That's amazing. So first of every month?
I'm thinking the first of every month. There's going to be one episode every month on the Book of Love podcast. And it's going to be going into a little bit of my story of my love life in the past to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And so, and the reason that I'm doing this is, like I said, is I want to stay humble.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a superior to any of my clients or anybody that's coming to me because I've been through it all. And so that's kind of why I really wanted to focus on that. So outside of that, go to my website at www.jematchmaking.com. That's kind of the launching pad to all the things that I do. So we have events. That's where they're all going to get posted. If you want to book in a 15-minute consultation, which will be the first step to get you into the Book of Love, you can go to the services tab and book that in based on your availability, and we can talk through all the details. Yes. So there's no commitment when you actually book in that first step. It's literally you just and I jumping on the phone and talking through the details. We're not a big
no pressure.
No. We're not a big sales company. We deal with relationships and dating. So if we're selling people, then we're having people that are half-assed in there. Like, we want people to invest in this. Yeah. So we're not there to sell anybody. We're just there to inform. So that's a great way to do it. Book of Love is there. We got a huge book list that's there for all the things, all the books that we've read, all the books that we talk about is on there. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
So good at TikTok. Follow her on TikTok.
TikTok's fun.
Every time like I just open up the For You, I'm like, Jean-Eva.
Am I on your
like,
For You?
all the time. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I wonder who sees me and where it goes.
Isn't that wild?
It is wild. Yeah.
It's just out there.
And it's all dating tips. I used to do it daily, but less so now. Just
Right.
Things are busy. So I do dating tips when I can. Couple funnies. I have people that take them very seriously. They're like, so do you actually meet 555,600 people? And I'm like, no, that's a song. Like, clearly I didn't meet that many people.
Yeah, people really take TikTok seriously.
They think it's serious stuff. Like, it's joking, you guys. Outside of my dating tips, it's all jokes. Please don't take it seriously.
Yeah, it's all fun times.
We got to keep it light. So, yeah, JE Matchmaking, all the things. That's where you can find me.
Yeah, please follow her. Go to her events. Do the things. I hope you guys fucking learned something today.
Oh, gosh.
Like, this
have
so
a whirlwind romance, even if it doesn't work out. Just have so much fun.
Have so much fun. Thank you so much for being episode 200, baby.
Thank you for having me here.
Episode 200 was a big one.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we're gonna finally pop this champagne.
You know, I know how to saber them. Do you want to saber it?
What does that mean?
You get a big ass knife and you saber it.
Ooh, I have no idea what that is. If I take this metal thing off,
do you want me to do it for you? Or do you
want
to do it?
I want to do it myself.
Okay, cool.
Independent woman. Yeah. If I take this metal thing off, will it go flying?
No.
Okay, this.
But what I like to do is actually put it on the table.
Okay.
And then just have your hand up over it while you undo it. It's not going to pop up, but I just like to do that just to make sure.
Just for safety.
Just for safety reasons.
Just for the comfort. Okay. I feel like we need some sort of saying. I don't know. Happy.
Badass womanry.
Badass womanry?
Badass. Yeah, womanry. That's a new word that we've made. Badass womenism.
Okay, here's to episode 200. Here we go.
I knew that wasn't
really
going to work.
Scared. I'm always scared to do this. Even in my tub, I was scared to do it.
Oh, girl. She's a tight one. I didn't mean that to be dirty,
Wait.
but...
Okay, pointing it away.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Yes.
So
It's almost there.
This is the most anticlimactic finale. Why is
It's coming. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks so much. Oh my gosh. And guys, thank you guys for listening for 200 episodes. You're going to hear it in the intro, but it's going to be a little bit of a break. But I will be back. And it's not the end. It is just the beginning of hopefully better things. Hopefully.
You're going to come back fresh.
That's right. So big thanks for supporting the podcast. Thank you, Jean-Eva, for being part of it. Where's my bell? You get to ring. Wait, we're going to do a cheers first.
Okay.
Cheers to 200. A little sippy sip. And you get to ring that bell.